A few things to get to in the entertainment realm. We will start with this. Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck are committed to keeping their divorce civil for the sake of their children.
Oh, God, I'm over them.
But I'd like to apologize to Jennifer Garner and her pool boy, Ben Affleck.
There wasn't even enough time for their kids to know the other one.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like they say for their children, they don't have children together, right?
No, they do not. They do not. But they have to co-parent.
They blended
kids.
for a little bit for that weekend, that long weekend.
So she has twins.
The kids are like, who?
Yeah.
Max and Emmy with ex-husband Mark Anthony, and Affleck shares 3 kids with ex-wife Jennifer Garner, and they have focused on co-parenting to maintain a positive atmosphere for their families. They even reunited for a family lunch with most of their children back in September. So that was at one meeting.
I mean, at least, and they also did the reports where they did school night together. So I don't know if they needed to do that, but whatever. They're trying.
Unless his kids are like huge J-Lo fans and they're like, oh, Dad. Come on.
So the two of them have been in mediation with famed divorce lawyer Laura Wasser to resolve their property settlement though the divorce will not be finalized until at least February. Despite the challenges of dividing assets from their 2-year marriage, the couple has made it clear they want to keep things peaceful and cooperative. Broadway will dim its lights Thursday at 6:45 p.m. to honor the late James Earl Jones, who passed away earlier this month at 93.
That's great.
That's really cool. They're going to do that honor for him.
He's absolutely worthy of that.
The marquee lights of Broadway venues will go dark for 1 minute in his honor. The tribute will recognize Jones's legendary Broadway career, marked by 2 Tony Awards and the 2017 Special Tony Award for Lifetime Achievement. Jones began his Broadway journey in 1957 as an understudy in The Egghead and started notable productions including The Great White Hope, Fences, and Driving Miss Daisy.
It's wild to see. I've been there on Broadway, and I was wondering what was going on when they dimmed the lights.
Oh, yeah?
It is pretty cool. Yeah, yeah.
In 2022, the Court Theater was renamed the James Earl Jones Theater in his honor. Pretty amazing.
Is dimming just enough? Should they blow up one theater?
Yeah, they should just destroy one in honor.
Which one, though, man?
Of the great.
Whichever one he liked the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would make sense. So James Earl Jones, that's cool. It's going to happen this Thursday. Boy Meets World. I did not watch Boy Meets World.
You read the book.
I know a lot of people do, and Marissa did in particular. Trina McGee, she was a star on the show. She has shared that she suffered a miscarriage after getting pregnant at 54 years old.
Wow.
The loss reportedly occurred toward the end of her first trimester, and McGee shared that despite the sad news, she's still so grateful to have the experience. She also shared she's struggled with depression following the news and admitted that she has had trouble getting out of bed, and this would have been their 4th child together with her and her husband, Marcelo. So McGee also shared that she's not sure if she wants to go through a pregnancy again and is open to seeing where life goes. Yes, Maris?
All right, so Trina was Sean's girlfriend in college.
Okay.
During the college years.
Gotcha.
Yes.
And amazed that she was 55 because I thought she was my age this whole time.
Yeah.
Aren't you 55?
Not yet.
Dwayne Johnson reached out to the Appalachia High School in Georgia football team and gave them a huge bright spot in the darkest time of their lives. Johnson met with the team last week after 4 people were killed and multiple others injured in a mass shooting at the school on September 4th. And he had said, I know they're in great pain in an Instagram post, but man, are they resilient and staying strong. And he shared multiple photos from the students' visit to his Atlanta movie set. On top of making the team's day, month, and year, The Rock, who played football in high school and college, promised the kids that he will be in attendance for the team's first home game.
That's pretty cool.
So he's going to go there
Yeah.
for that. And here's another example of a celeb doing a really cool thing. And I watched the video this morning. I got way choked up. But a young boy undergoing cancer treatment at a Boston hospital got a big surprise when he was greeted by Ryan Reynolds.
Wow.
Yep. The Deadpool and Wolverine star surprised 8-year-old Nash on Friday at Mass General Hospital for Children, where he's being treated for a rare form of cancer. And it all started when Nash's mother sent Ryan Reynolds a picture of her son's radiation mask. So he had this whole thing he had to wear on his face, and they decorated it. He decorated it to look like Deadpool. And Reynolds replied that he would like to come to Boston and meet him.
Wow.
And the whole visit was a surprise. And you see the kid walk in like he barely speaks at all. Like he can't
believe it.
believe that this is happening. So Ryan signed Nash's mask. And then he pulled out his phone and did a FaceTime with Hugh Jackman.
Oh, my God.
Dude, come on, man.
Yeah. So we have the Headstrong Foundation started here in Philadelphia, well, technically Delaware County, and they have a thing called Nick's House in Swarthmore. Well, they're opening one in Boston. And that's really, really cool because Boston is another city that just has amazing care for people suffering cancer.
Well, in fact, Reynolds wrote about the meeting. He said he wished every kid needing treatment got it here. He said, and I wish every parent with a sick kid could put their kid in hands this capable. So he was going on and on about that hospital. And then he wrote, Nash, you're the best. Love you, pal. So
it's amazing.
Just
love
precious. Just absolutely awesome. All right, Steve sent me this story this morning. I know Billy Joel is rich.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You didn't know he was this rich?
Have you seen this house?
We were talking about it. So
oh my God.
You've seen a house, you've seen houses, you've seen estates. Trust me. I know you have in your life.
Yes.
And we all have. And we become sort of immune to it. This one was jaw-dropping.
So he's looking for a buyer for his sprawling Long Island estate, relisting the luxurious property for $49.9 million, and after a year of multi-million-dollar renovation. Oh, by the way, Nick, that's just the main house that you pulled up.
Oh,
there.
okay.
There's 4 of them on the property.
Really?
Well, and you know what, too? I mean, obviously that he redid the house and, made it current. But, sometimes when you get these giant houses, you see people's taste in it, and it's like a little, sometimes it's a little tacky.
Yes.
Remember Andy Reid's house?
Yeah.
It was weird. This is just gorgeous overall.
So it has a name. It's Middle C. And Nick pulled up an aerial shot of it, Casey. Look at that.
I like it that.
The 26-acre center island spread. So it's essentially it looks like it's its own island. Has 4 homes and offers more than 2,000 feet of private beach, which is a rare luxury even along the affluent Gold Coast there. Purchased by Billy in 2002, the estate was expanded from its initial 14 acres to include adjoining parcels and additional waterfront lots. The estate is highlighted by its 20,000 square foot main house.
Yeah.
That's one house, 20,000
house.
square feet. Features oversized living spaces, 5 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, and breathtaking 180-degree views of the Long Island Sound.
And a beautiful above-ground pool.
And it comes with a pool, and they got a pool table, too.
Is it built in?
The home's 30-foot cathedral ceilings, marble and hardwood floors, spa, ballroom, wine cellar, bowling alley add to the overall grandeur, making it a standout among other properties in the area. Billy had taken the home off the market last November to complete the final touches of this major renovation. At the start of this year, he reiterated his love for Long Island. He said, just because I'm selling the house doesn't mean I'm leaving Long Island. I still have a house on Long Island. And then he cracked a joke about why he's offloading his longtime manse, saying, I'm just going to spend a little more time in Florida like old Jewish guys from Long Island do.
I don't want to nitpick, but it does look like the helipad is a little close to the pool. And then when the helicopter lands, it might blow.
It might blow your little umbrella out of your drink.
I mean, look at they're right next to each other, Preston.
So the surrounding grounds of the property featuring rolling green lawns, meticulously landscaped gardens, 2 swimming pools, a gazebo, and a covered outdoor dining area that's perfect for entertaining.
By the way, the ocean in front of his house is temperature controlled. Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Did you mention that he bought parcels around
Yes.
it?
So
Initially, it was 14 acres, and now it's 26.
And
So,
he actually had the families in those houses put to death.
in addition to the main residence, there are 3 other homes on the property: a 5-bedroom gatehouse, a 3-bedroom Malibu-style beach house, and a 3-bedroom guest house.
You are filthy rich if you can give your gate its own house.
Yeah.
I mean, the guest house is like the size of my house,
Well,
probably.
it's gorgeous, and in this area, obviously, where real estate is at a premium. I mean, this is. You got to get used to seeing these things like, oh, that's amazing. Oh, wow, look at that. You look at Tyler Perry's place.
Yeah.
That's a dump compared to this setup.
Agreed. And I've seen the ones in Hollywood that are ridiculous. They have to have smaller parcels of land, I think, out in like Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Not like this. This is probably the most intense one I've ever seen before. This is incredible. So Middle Sea is flanked by Oyster Bay and Cold Spring Harbor, offering stunning seaside views from nearly every angle. The estate's private beach, dock, and boat ramp provide ample opportunities for water activities, while the private helipad ensures easy access to those who are flying in. So
The fall activity is we're going to sneak onto the property, try to get to the helipad.
And be shot.
So if you got 50 mil, you're in the running for that.
Jeez.
Wow. Wonder if it comes furnished or not.
No, because pictures of the inside of the house, it looks like it's all like it looks like he renovated it and didn't move back in. Like
so that's
it's
another
empty.
$15 million you got to spend on furniture.
Start with a futon.
Yeah, right? Yeah, begin there. All right. So, yeah, take a look at that today if you want, or don't, if you don't want to be depressed about your life. All right, moving on. Nadia Suleiman, who gained international notoriety as Octomom.
Here, we're going to make you feel better.
Yeah, octuplets back in 2009. She's now a grandmother. She revealed that one of her 10 sons and his wife have welcomed a baby girl. She said, "Thank you, my son and my lovely daughter-in-law." What's her name? Or what's his name? For giving us this beautiful gift. We are so blessed that she's a new addition to our family. Baby girl, you're so loved, and we can't wait to watch you grow.
Does Suleiman still walk around with her uterus in a wheelbarrow?
She is, by the way, she's mom to 14 kids overall. She didn't reveal which one of
Do you
her
remember those absurd photos of her ballooned out?
Yeah.
I mean, it almost looked like it was an artist rendering.
Yep.
Of what the most pregnant woman in the world would look like.
Jerry Seinfeld and Jim Gaffigan are once again going to hit the road together. Following their short 4-stadium tour last year, the two comics are hitting the road together again in 2025 for a North American tour that will make stops at 8 arenas in Canada and the U.S. It's a labor of love for Gaffigan, who said in a statement, "I will never rest in helping this struggling comedian Jerry Steinfeld until he is a household name." The 8 dates include stops in Ottawa, Omaha, Kansas City, Columbus, Ohio, Charlotte, San Diego, and Phoenix.
He was in, Gaffigan was in Unfrosted, and I think it kind of got panned. I thought it was hilarious.
I enjoyed it,
I really enjoyed it.
I thought it had a number of moments. It's not the piece of crap they would lead you to believe.
Yeah.
Is it great? No, but I chuckled many times.
Yeah, and Steve, I guess maybe like he got some blowback because Seinfeld, was out promoting it so much.
Yeah.
I think people got kind of tired of that or whatever.
He directed it and wrote it, and it was kind of his baby.
Gaffigan's really good in it.
So Max has announced that as part of the 30th anniversary of Friends, it will be airing a game show based on the series. Fast Friends will be a 4-part series, which will start production next month. The series will be filmed at the Friends Experience, the one in New York City, and will take place across a number of the show's iconic sets, including Rachel and Monica's apartment, Joey and Chandler's bachelor pad, and Central Perk.
I dig this idea. This could be applied to a number of iconic shows. Basically, it's our self-proclaimed expert.
Yes.
And
which, by the way, we need
to start that again.
Somebody
we just need to solicit.
That, somebody mentioned that to me not too long ago, that we need to reignite the self-proclaimed experts. And somebody had recommended a topic, and I don't remember what it was, but we'll get back into that for sure. Fans are going to be put to the test with trivia puzzles and games, with the quickest team earning the title of Ultimate Friends fan. No word yet on when that will
What would be
air.
Your show of choice were you to compete on a show like this one?
Man, oh man, oh man.
Let's make it a television show.
It would have to be something that I've watched multiple times, so either Stranger Things or and these aren't like long running, for years and years TV shows. Man, Stranger Things, Game of Thrones, and Ted Lasso are the ones that I've watched.
Those are your three. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think so. How about you?
Star Trek, the original Star Trek, I've seen, just an ungodly amount of times. If you're talking sitcoms, Modern Family, I do pretty well at.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That was sort of my anchor show when I was, in times of sadness.
The Office would be a great one for. There's so many fanatics about that.
Right.
We could do a self-proclaimed expert on The Office.
In the 90s, there was a board game based on the TV show Cheers, and my friends and I bought it, and we played it all the time. And Steve, it was the same thing 30-some years ago, but I think I could still do Cheers. I think I did pretty well with that one.
Well, in case you haven't seen it, Marvel has released the first trailer for its upcoming film, Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Florence Pugh reprises her Black Widow role as Yelena Belova. And David Harbour returning as Yelena's father, Alexei Shostakov. The film also features Marvel characters John Walker, who's played by Wyatt Russell, Taskmaster, played by Olga Kuryalenko, Bucky Barnes, Sebastian Stan, Ghost is Hannah John Kamen, and Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Okay, I don't know Ghost. I do know Ghost. What was the other one that you said?
Taskmaster was in Black Widow, and I had to remind myself of the character because I thought that was a great movie. But there were other things going on besides that Taskmaster character, and it ended up being this girl. And I need to go back and watch how that played out.
In the comic books,
but it could mimic your moves. It could mimic any fighting style.
Yeah, if the Taskmaster fought Captain America, it could do the thing with the shield or whatever. In the comics, it was a man. In the movie, it was a woman. And so at the end of Black Widow, Casey, they kind of unbrainwashed her.
That's right.
And so she's going to join this. And did you read why, Preston, there's an asterisk at the end of Thunderbolts?
No.
The theory is at the end of the movie, there's going to be a reveal on a new title. And the new title theory is Dark Avengers. So they're going to take a team of Avengers that are like anti-heroes. And that's where this is going to start.
Very interesting. Film comes out May 2nd, 2025. But hoping for good things.
I like the trailer.
Yeah. All right, one more story, and then we got to do the clips. What I want to end with here is that a few different things. How about this one? So DC may have found his Green Lantern, or one of them at least. Kyle Chandler of Friday Night Lights is reportedly in talks to star as Hal Jordan, the same Green Lantern previously played by Ryan Reynolds.
The coach from Friday Night Lights, that guy?
You know what? I don't know, Case.
I think he's older, if I'm remembering correctly.
Well, it depends on which lantern they're doing.
He was also in that, that one show, Bloodline. Yeah.
Yeah, because remember they wanted Josh Brolin to play this character. So
he's also in Wall Street Case. He's the FBI agent.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Wolf of Wall Street, yeah.
If the reports are to be believed, Chandler would be one of the leads of the upcoming HBO Lanterns TV series. The series will apparently follow Green Lanterns Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart as two intergalactic cops that take on a dark mystery. The search for
The Daily Show?
The search for Stewart's actor is reportedly still ongoing.
Okay, so it'll be sort of a paternal sort of Batman, Robin-ish kind of vibe.
Yeah. All right, clips. Let's do them. So this season with Dancing with the Stars is loaded with professional athletes, including rugby player Ilona Mayer. And here, the two-time Olympian shares her goals for being on the show. Here we go.
I want to convey to people at home watching this idea that athletes and female athletes are so much more than just their sport. You know, I think sometimes we're put in a box because of the sports we play or who we are or our body types. So I want to show people that I may go out on the rugby pitch and tackle and stiff arm, but I also can dance and I love to get dressed up and do all these things. So I'm just so much more than my sport. I am a human being and I love so many things.
Yeah!
She's pretty awesome.
New episode of Dancing with the Stars airs tonight on NBC. Yeah, she's got the best disposition.
I was watching, and I watched a bit of her sequence on the show and about training, and so it's funny because they keep doing a thing and they keep putting out TikTok videos where they're dancing, and she keeps taking the lead, and because she's bigger than her dance partner.
Yeah.
But it's great.
Next clip. Jason Reitman wrote and directed Saturday Night after a lifelong obsession that culminated in 2008. As the story goes, after finishing Juno, Jason told his manager that he always wanted to be a Saturday Night Live writer. The manager called Lorne Michaels, and Jason explains the rest here.
Lorne's response was, yes, the young man can come to space camp. I spent a week at SNL. I wrote a sketch. It got on air. Is one of the greatest weeks of my life. And the hour before showtime was the most adrenaline I've ever felt in my life. I mean, I've been to the World Series, I've been to the NBA Finals. Nothing compares to being on the ground there. And I knew there and then that someday I'd find a way to capture what it felt like to make that show.
Saturday Night opens in theaters this Friday, by the way. All right, and there you go. That's the entertainment report for this morning. Let's bring you up to speed on what's happening today. We have Good Money less than an hour from now. $1,000, your chance to win. Get set for that. We also have, at some point this morning, more Metallica tickets to give away to both of the shows. You get to go to both of them. We're calling it 10 Days of Metallica. So listen for when we tell you to call in to be the 10th caller and win that. And we will have on our program today via Zoom, Colin Mochrie from Whose Line Is It Anyway? He and Brad Sherwood have a show on Saturday, October 5th at the Keswick Theater. And after that, in the 9 o'clock hour, Sting, Gordon Sumner himself, will be joining us today because he's got another Philly show coming up at the Met on Monday, September 30th, actually, and Tuesday, October 1st as well. Tickets are available for that. So,
what was it? Just a couple months ago we talked to him, but he called it one of the singular greatest experiences of his life.
He wants to relive it.
I'm assuming that's what he said.
Yep. So we'll relive that with him this morning. We're going to take a quick break and come back in a moment, so please stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
Not a scuba.
Snookles
or a snorkel. But a snookle.
It's the latest craze that's sweeping the beaches of America. Snookling.
Get some Beach Boys.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be
Good
great.
outside, hanging tan, snookling all day long.
Surfing USA, please.
Oh, sorry.
I know what the snookle is, if I may suggest. Have a snookle.
Oh my God. Ladies and gentlemen.
Snookle USA.
Like California.
I'm such an idiot.
All right, anyhow.
Snorkeling.
Oh, yeah.
I went snorkeling, and you weren't allowed to wear. You weren't allowed to wear the sunblock that you brought. You had to use the sunblock that they provided for you, and it's because the sunblock that most people wear is pretty damaging to the reef. And I was wondering if it would be damaging at all to like a pool filter or to the saltwater.
These are all good questions.
Whatever,
because some of the chemicals are pretty arch and can have that effect.
Yeah, and I've been snorkeling many times in my life, but this is the first time ever on a snorkel trip where I had to do this, and you weren't allowed to wear what you had, what you brought.
They provided.
They provided it for you.
Do you remember what it was? What type it was?
I don't. It was like an industrial vat.
It was called Reef Killer.
Yeah.
Reef Killer sunblock. A snookle, by the way, as you're snorkeling, has a second tube that goes up back onto the beach so that someone could load M&Ms into them so that you can eat.
You're hungry.
So that's what a snookle
Right, a
is?
snookle is a second food tube.
Okay.
So that you can swim longer.
Everybody wins.
That's great.
They do have snuba.
Snuba.
Snuba is legit.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Snuba.
Apparently
Yeah.
snookle is legit as well.
Are you kidding
it?
me?
No, I'm serious.
If you can swim, you can snookle. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Snookle offers shallow dives.
Approximately 10 to 40 feet without cumbersome tanks and no diving certification necessary. That looks like snuba.
It does.
So what
A hose,
what
right?
they do is, they have a floating tank that stays above the water, and you basically take the regulator down, and it's a long tube, a long hose that you can breathe in. We're getting ready to get recertified to go into a refresher course for scuba to get set for our vacation. So I'm looking forward to it. But I'll ask about snookle.
Yeah.
But you did get your first job from an internship, right?
I did. My
K-San?
at
No.
K-San in San
Okay, it was.
Francisco, yeah.
As a jock?
Well, even when I was a jock, I was only part-time.
Okay.
Didn't they change format?
Yeah, and then in my last year, it switched to country and western, which was just ghastly.
And what was your name again for that?
Will Robertson. I couldn't give. I was so.
You just couldn't.
My first name is William, but none of the kids in my family ever went by their first name. My middle name is Pierre, and we've always gone by our middle names in my family for whatever bizarre reason. And so I said, I can't. This is such a vile thing they've done. I can't give them my name, but I got to keep my paltry weekend air shift. So, but the records were much shorter. It was hard to go to the bathroom.
Yes,
they're 3-minute records.
Country songs are short.
And divorces and cheating and trains and drinking and prison.
Trains.
Cheating on trains.
Yeah. I mean, some themes that go through. Now I actually got to like a lot of the music too, but it was here comes another 5 songs in country stereo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Country stereo.
That was the tagline?
Country stereo.
Something like that. And then they had this horrible jingles. The spirit of the West is alive and well, and living in Contra Costa County, and living in Marin County, and living in Sonoma County.
Name all the counties.
They name
in the
all the
area?
counties.
Oh my God!
We all got us a story there, Presbo.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
And now decades, one station.
Yeah. I've only been at 2 stations.
That's wild.
So Will Robertson and Kenny What was his name?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Kenny Knight.
Kenny Knight.
Yeah, but when I worked at a country station I did weekends. It was down the hall, and they needed a part-timer, and I did whatever I could to be in the radio business. I was Kenny Big Rig Rider.
Kenny Big Rig Rider.
Big Rig Rider.
Yeah.
We got to get us a morning show with Will Robertson and Kenny Big Rig Rider.
That's a good team up.
Hell
right there.
yeah.
I like
And
it.
then I went by Don Imus.
Friday, so I'm beginning the weekend. A lot of people
He knows that kills me when he does that.
my God.
Absolutely.
Is he still
kills
even on?
He retired.
Okay.
He retired. He's a legend, bona fide legend, but towards the end there, it's
A little
was
crazy?
total unintelligible.
Honest in the morning. I got a movie work coming a little later on. Reverend Billy Hard.
Those were those cowboy hats, too, when I see him on
Yes.
TV. I mean,
With the headphones. Cowboy hat.
He did?
Yeah, on the side.
No, they hung underneath.
Were they under? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good look.
Action News says when they arrived, they saw 2 officers from the 24th District attempting to arrest an unruly teenager. While that was happening, another person showed up and tried to antagonize the person being arrested. That person was told several times by police to back up, but instead they pulled out a cell phone and got in between the officers to yell at the guy being arrested. After a supervisor arrived on the scene and tried to get the person to step away, the man tried to provoke officers into a fight.
That's what you were talking about.
I was
Casey,
just telling you
came
guys.
on, yeah.
This guy is such an a-hole. He's yelling at the cops. Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
But he's getting as close to them as possible.
The cops aren't touching him at all.
Yeah.
And he is the one that's walking towards them.
He's the aggressor.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And he got arrested,
and
yeah?
he's in the middle of the street, and the cops are saying, you got to get out of the street. He's like, no, I don't. Like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. You're in the middle of the street, you effing a-hole.
Well, technically, that's jaywalking, so you can be cited right there for that.
Well, he got arrested for being an idiot anyway.
He did, yeah. So then he used profanity to tell a supervisor showed up on the scene as well. They called for backup, and he told the supervisor that he was really ugly.
Yeah.
You're really ugly.
Oh, he was ugly.
If you don't watch out, I'm going to grab your wrist.
So he says, "Who you wife? Damn." You guys are so mean. Whatever.
He's going to squeeze it really hard, though.
I'm moving on.
Okay, move on.
Who you wife? I need to focus on this because
she's a newswoman.
I don't know if this is English.
And we're distracting her.
Sorry.
All right.
Who you wife? Damn, I forgot he ain't got one. Damn, he said.
That was well performed.
Okay,
Who
thank
you
you.
wife?
Who you wife?
Damn.
Damn. Don't forget the damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Who you wife?
So
Damn.
Philadelphia Police Chief Inspector Scott.
Excuse me, who you wife?
Damn.
You ain't got no wife? Damn.
That's a different way.
John Houseman performed.
Yes.
You wife? Damn. You ain't got no wife. Damn.
Well done. Well done. You know what? It's
was
like
very
I
well
was
done.
there.
Exactly.
It's like I was there on the scene. The Harry Potter film franchise is indelibly linked to Alan Rickman.
Yes.
And his portrayal of Professor Severus Snape. But Rickman wasn't as enamored with the role as fans were and still are, a new trove of letters reveals.
I think it sucks a bag of beans. Mr. Potter, this role sucks a big bag of Harry D.
If he didn't like it or had issues with it, it certainly didn't show up on screen. He was excellent, and to his emotional, spoiler alert, ending in the series.
Yeah.
He was a critical part of it.
Yep.
Many of you are surely wondering why I have summoned you at this hour.
His delivery is
Just so good.
It's come to my attention that earlier this evening, Harry Potter was sighted in Hogsmeade. Mm-hmm. Now, should anyone, student or staff, attempt to aid Mr. Potter,
I just love the way he drags out those words, man.
they will be punished in a manner consistent with the severity of their transgression. Furthermore, any person found to have knowledge of these events who fails to come forward will be treated as equally guilty.
It's so good.
Fantastic. Wow. It's so sad that he's
You will
gone.
be called to my office, where I shall spank you with your pantaloons down around your ankles. I shall do so liberally and with great care. There will be a modicum of probing. Digits will be involved.
If that doesn't scare you straight, I don't know what
I might
would.
even break out the wand. At which point you will receive an enema unlike any you have ever received before. In fact, I will pay to have the owl watch the whole
Oh my God. He's a cuck. The owl's a cuck.
Absolutely.
Hedwig?
Yeah.
That's his
And then, when it is all done, I shall pleasure myself into the sorting hat.
Oh my God.
Not the sorting hat.
Oh, man.
Oh my God.
He's gone off the deep end.
That's when Rickman became bored with the character.
Right.
He decided needed to add a little flavor to it.
Sure.
Oh,
It's
wow.
because of his pentameter, I have had this ongoing debate as to whether or not he says yippee-ki-yay, I'll say truck, mutta truck or mutta trucka.
And that haunts you?
Well, I mean, I've talked about this ever since the movie came out. Does he put an ER at the end of...
I don't think
Bless
he
me,
does.
Father, for I have sinned.
Yes.
I'm worried about Alan Rickman's delivery of the role Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Trucker. Do you have any sins to tell me about, son?
No. I just thought I'd talk about
I just
this.
wanted to seek your counsel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think there's an ER. I think it's
Me neither.
Question you just raised is easily one of the most imbecilic things I've ever heard. I want you to come to my office, where I shall lock the door and spank your buttocks.
This morning, we're doing a very cool thing with Dunkin'. It's called the Dunkin' Surprise and Delight Stop. And our friends at Dunkin' and the MM Army are going to be swinging by the Morris Animal Refuge in Center City today at 9 a.m. And it's a thank you to them for all they do to give them back to the community. So they're going to get some goodies from Dunkin' today.
Well, when they show up there, they're going to see a number of our pets who have passed, represented on a lovely mural that they have on the side of the building. Yeah, they're a wonderful organization, so they deserve it.
Celebrating a 150-year journey.
Yeah.
That's wild.
They're amazing.
1242 Lombard Street. They stand as a testament to the enduring legacy of its visionary founder, Elizabeth Morris, and achieved a remarkable 98% save rate and facilitated annual adoptions of over 1,200 animals. If you want to find a new furry friend, you can look at their listings and see who's available to take home at morrisanimalrefuge.org. So thanks to our friends at Dunkin' for providing today's coffee and treats.
Love that.
So that'll be in the 9 o'clock hour. All right, you want to take a trip to Presbo's World?
Yeah.
I'm
Hi,
sorry.
Presbo.
Totally Presbo. I keep saying Presbo's World.
I do like that, though. Boy meets Presbo.
It's like Elmo's World.
Yeah.
But no, it's totally Presbo.
Totally Presbo.
I mentioned in the entertainment news that Friends just turned over the weekend 30 years old.
30 years old.
Since it debuted, and they're going to celebrate with this game show and everything. But I saw this article, and it says, lessons about friendship that we learned from the TV show Friends.
Okay.
All right.
Useful life lessons.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So here,
Nobody ever lives like that.
that's true
That's
too.
on just one level. They're struggling people. Those apartments, especially the one the ladies had, would have been absolutely unobtainable. It's like, but they always depict them as like, oh, this is just my place. Yeah.
These are some of the things that these fictional friends got right about friendship, according to research.
All right.
So here are some of the things that you can do within your friendships to, keep it special.
Okay,
So
let's
one of
hear
them,
it.
one of them is find a third place. The group of friends regularly hung out their coffee shop, Central Perk, which can be considered their third place, a space outside of work or home that encourages socializing.
What we used to refer to as a haunt.
Yeah, a joint.
Yes.
So
a whorehouse.
Friendship educator Danielle Jackson points out that having a designated space that is purely recreational and communal to spend time together, like they do on the show, can help make you feel more connected to your community, and lead to deeper friendships.
Do you have something like that?
I don't have
I do
something
not.
like that.
I have kind of made my house into the place that people come to hang, which is great. But there's not a go hang Central Park kind of place.
You know what? The only time I ever felt like that was like in effect was during COVID, when everyone was at home, and if they needed to get out of the house and go somewhere, like they would go to a coffee shop or wherever, and they'd bring their computer, they'd do work there, and you would bump into people like, oh my God, hey, you're working here. That was really only. Otherwise, it's like, hey, do you want to go get a cup of coffee? Meet me here.
Right. And the only other places I can think of besides like a coffee shop or something like that is a bar. And the last thing you want is to be the regular at the bar. You know what I mean?
Hey, Norm.
You're Norm.
Kathy, hey.
It's our favorite alcoholic.
She's a raging alcoholic.
Wait, I got to tell you oh my God, this is such a great story. Preston, I walked into Plaza Azteca. This was a few months ago, and I met three of my friends, and they had already been there. They were sitting, they ate, and I was like, I'll run over and meet you for a drink. And I went in, I walked in, I sat down, and their server came over, and he looked at me, he goes, oh, hey, and he fist pumped me. And they were like, are you kidding me? You come here this much that your server just fist pumped you? He was like, skinny margarita? I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah. Oh, my God. All right, so here's another thing that we've learned from Friends. Create real bonds with the people you see frequently. So the characters on Friends weren't only close because of their shared interests. They were all pretty different, but they saw each other every day. And marriage and family therapist Colin Marshall says that you're more likely to develop closer bonds with people you see all the time.
All right, so on a practical level, you have to have the right set of circumstances where you're seeing your friends on a daily basis.
It would be your neighbors.
Yeah. Or
or us, your coworkers.
Do pets count?
I don't want to be friends with you guys.
I mean, we see each other more than we see all other people other than our families.
There was a time at the beginning when we were building the show where we were seeing each other dramatically more than our own family members.
Yep, exactly. So you want to create bonds with the people you see frequently. Here's another tip. Don't be afraid to get vulnerable. Monica, Rachel, Phoebe, Joey, Ross, and Chandler weren't afraid to show their emotions or ask for advice, which Jackson says is key to forming deeper connections.
Are you afraid to be vulnerable around your friends?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
Will you get naked and just lay on the floor and say, this is what I got, deal with it?
Only when I need to air out my junk.
See it looks, get used to it.
I've come a long way in it being open about my emotions, insecurities, feelings, and things like that. And it helps having your friends who are able to, you can share that with them and they can offer advice. It's important, I think.
You also have a neighborhood situation where a lot of your friends are in proximity, correct? Or am
if he remembers their names.
Okay.
No, I don't remember anybody in my neighborhood.
Hey, you with the garden shears.
I know where you live. I just don't know who you are.
Yeah, and I don't really want to know more.
Yeah.
I will get a call every once in a while. I got one recently, and my good friend was like, okay, I need help. I did something. I need you to help me. So it was like she called me.
I killed a man. I'm heading to Vegas.
Well, she was like, my husband's going to kill me, so I need to talk to you. I can't tell him what I did.
Oh, my God. We need to hear that. Those details.
It was, she walked onto like a set of something. It was like a set in progress. It was in her neighborhood, and she walked onto it, and she was like, I was like, it's not a big deal. Relax.
What did she thought the movie police were going to arrest her? Or?
Well, no, somebody said something to her and was
it
like,
a porn
hey,
set?
you can come by, but like, don't step on the set, please. So she was like mortified that she was like that person.
Like there's filming? There was filming going on?
Yeah, it was a photo shoot.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. They said that the friends see each other at their worst when they're most vulnerable, but know that they can count on each other no matter what, and that's what deep friendship is all about. Also, they suggest, and this is the last tip on here, share your life with your friends. The group on Friends don't limit their social interactions to things like going out to dinner or drinks. They spend a lot of time together just doing things that they already have to do, like running errands, as well as just hanging out. Marshall explains that this creates a happiness boost because it gives us a chance to share positive experiences with our friends, and it leads to spending more time together, too.
Working out. Like, I now work out with friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever done that, other than when I was martial arts training. I never did workouts.
Yeah, so
accountability thing.
friends.
So I will take classes, and I have
Do a lot of spotting?
a couple of friends that will sometimes, a couple of friends that that I'll go with. But I have a friend who hates working out, so the only time she'll call and she'll be like, "Will you come to the gym with me? Will you
That's
go
the only
for a
way she'll
walk?
do it.
Will you
Okay.
go for a walk with me?"
Okay.
So
Yeah. Her
Become-
workout buddy. All right, I got it. All right, so some tips.
I think
things
those
that we
are
learned I thought those
a
were
little
good.
helpful.
Legit
Do
suggestions.
they have any friendship tips from Breaking Bad?
No.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Share an
man.
addiction.
Start a meth group together.
All of Jesse Pinkman's buddies, they were there for him.
They were there for him, bro.
Totally there for him.
Yeah.
Was Skinny Pete?
Skinny Pete, and then Badger, and they were all there.
You know, Skinny Pete's a really good piano player.
Is he?
Yeah.
Wait, from Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
I don't remember Skinny Pete.
He's skinny.
Yeah, really, really skinny guy. He's the one. If you watch El Camino, he gave him his car.
God, I can't remember.
Okay,
Such a great show. I just don't remember all those characters. There were people that came and went. I remember him.
Yeah,
We pulled up a picture of him. Yeah.
The actor's name is Charles Baker, and he's a classically trained piano player.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never would have pegged that.
Fun fact.
All right, next one. Here we go.
Totally Presbo.
All right, this is kind of weird. It is, I think this was making the rounds on TikTok, but if you look at your wrist, you might notice a freckle close to where it meets your hand.
Okay.
And
I have vitiligo, so I'm out.
Turns out that many people all seem to have a freckle in the same spot and are turning to social media to compare and come up with theories as to why everyone has this marking. Does anybody in this room have a freckle where the wrist meets the hand? I do.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm a walking freckle.
I don't know if that's
It's an itty bitty one right here, Casey. See that? Right there?
Let me see. Put your hand up.
You can't see it from there.
Oh,
You'd have to get
no.
closer. It's right
The
there.
itty bitty freckle committee.
Yours is on the top?
Yeah, mine's right there.
Oh, I have a bunch of them on my wrist on the top, but on the bottom I only see one.
Oh man, I'm not in this club.
Sorry, man. All right, so we're looking at pictures. And
What does it
people are showing
determine?
on top. So
The likelihood of having friends?
dermatologist Dr. Joyce Park explains it's not something deeper. It might just be due to sun exposure, especially when driving, as wrists and hands often get more UV light. Even if you cover up or wear sunscreen, the back of your hand might get missed. So, yeah, it is on the back.
See, so I have vitiligo, so I would not know. I'm all spotty on my hands, but I do carry one little mark here, which is where my father's cigarette hit my hand.
Oh my God!
Oh, man.
When we were at
To this day.
To this day,
Wow.
Kutcher's Dirty Dancing type in the Catskills,
Oh my
one of those
gosh.
kind of resorts. We were going to see Charlie Callis perform, and his cigarette burned my hand, and it's kind of a loving little memory.
I have a scar right here. Do you see it?
Yep.
It's on the meat of my thumb.
Okay.
So I got that, Steve, I took an apple and I threw it up in the air and I had a kitchen knife and I went to try to slice it out of the air. I came right down in my hand and cut a big old slice of it. I know.
You dumb bitch.
How drunk were you?
I wasn't drunk. I was a teenager.
Same thing.
Oh, like that meant anything?
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, I was smoking pot.
14, yeah, weed and booze at that point, probably.
But there you have a little memory. It's like you carry your own little nostalgia with you right on your hand.
Yeah. Oh, can I share with you something I
Please.
did over the weekend? I showed,
like friends do.
I was showing some pictures to Casey. We had some work. Mr. Peanut has done some work on our deck, and it's beautiful and everything. And it's finally done. I was showing it to Casey, and as I was scrolling through, a picture of a bloody foot came up, and it was my bloody foot.
Yeah.
There's blood dripping all over the deck.
you did it to me too.
Yeah, I didn't mean to, but so what I did is we were sitting outside and a yellow jacket was flying around. So I had a fly swatter. Now, I bought these years ago. I have these heavy duty fly swatters.
Yeah.
The part that hits the whatever you're trying to kill is thick plastic. It's not the flimsy, flappy stuff.
You're gonna die.
So it's real heavy duty, and
the
metal is heavy gauge too. So I'm sitting in a chair barefoot, and he flies right between my legs, and I'm like, "Gotcha, mother effer!" And I went whap, and I hit my toe.
Oh my God!
And it just burst wide open. And I started
man.
bleeding
You and those wasps, man.
all over the place. I'm saying I have a bad record this year.
Yeah, you burnt your diving board down.
I got stung.
Wasps,
Got stung.
yellow
Foot
jackets.
open.
And by the way, then that's one mofo of a fly swatter.
Telling you, dude.
Yeah.
It's a badass.
If it caused that kind of injury on your toe.
It's heavy duty. Did I show you the picture, Steve?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, yeah.
I heard, and then you showed it, and I heard Kathy go, yeah!
Yeah, I'll show it to the. I have it readily available here because it's near the end of my photos. I'll show it to the. Show it to the camera here real quick so you can see my bloody toe.
Tapers alert.
That was pretty gnarly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a sizable.
Jeez, dude.
And the funny,
Well,
wait,
the
best-
beer was near your nut. The beer was near your nuts.
Best thing about it is Rochelle was laughing while this was happening because she saw me do it.
Did you get the wasp?
No, no.
You just totally whiffed.
I did later on. Okay. I did later on. I hunted him down and killed him.
Coming for you.
But I'll always have a scar to remember it by. That's right. That's
Fly swatter, bring my toe.
That's what I felt like. All right. So anyhow, the actual freckle that people are reporting, might be a mole or a beauty mark.
Mole, mole, mole.
Which are harmless growths of pigment-producing cells. Both doctors agree it's important to regularly check
Or
moles
stage 4 skin cancer.
and freckles for any changes and consult a doctor if something looks different. You know any people that have beauty marks like,
Cindy Crawford?
Yeah, so I had
No,
one.
I mean, you know people.
No.
I had one on like kind of like where my rib area was forever. It was like a
mole,
like a Brooke Shields, Madonna.
Yeah.
I had it for a long time. Never bothered me. It was really dark. It was like perfect circle. It never bothered me until.
Did you pull that one long back hair over it to hide it?
And it went inside her body.
No hair grew out of it. Nothing. Like it was sort of just part of me. It didn't bother me until I was probably, I guess, maybe college, and several times it happened on the beach, at the pool, whatever. Different people go, "Oh, you have a bug on you, a bug," and like swat away, and I'd be like, "Oh no, that's just my mole." So I did eventually have it removed.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay. Just went to a dermatologist and they cut it off?
Cut it off, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's too bad.
Yeah,
it seems like that wouldn't be something you would voluntarily do.
I mean, it was dark. It was
Really?
like almost black. Yeah, dark brown black. Yeah.
I do find the beauty mark on the face sexy.
So do I.
Yeah.
There was an actress, Anne Francis, had the classic, off to the side of the lip.
Yeah.
Beauty mark.
All right. Let's see what else we got here from Totally Presbo.
Totally Presbo.
All right, Dr. Alex Crow is a veterinarian who goes by Alex the Vet on TikTok. And in a recent post, Crow revealed the 5 dog breeds he would never own based on what he's seen in his office over the years. And I think that what they mean by this is would not recommend if you don't want these extra issues
There's
that
a
come
lot of-
along with owning certain breeds.
A lot of maintenance.
Yes.
A lot of things that can, they're not necessarily that they're going to kill your family in your sleep.
No.
Yeah.
Or that they're not lovable pets to
Right.
have. But if you would rather have a more maintenance-free pet.
For the lazy pet owner, it's a bad option.
You might want to avoid the Shar-Pei, for example.
Right.
They said the wrinkles are adorable, but are prone to serious skin infections as well as ear problems. My buddy Steve and his wife Julia used to have a Shar-Pei, and that thing, its farts were the smelliest of any animal I've ever
Why
been
do you think
around.
that's the case?
I don't know. But you could tell when that thing farted.
Whenever lists...
his name was Mojo. Great name for a dog, by the
great
way.
name. Whenever these lists come out, people automatically get very defensive.
Sure.
And I understand it.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just don't want to get a dog that could be problematic over time.
Mm-hmm. Here's another example. They had said Frenchies, pugs, and bulldogs.
Oh, my.
Flat-faced breeds struggle to breathe properly.
Yeah, dude, some of them, I'm like, are they okay?
Are they dying? Are they
dying?
choking on
They're
something?
like, no, you just, ran outside for a
But
second.
in other cases, it can be a cute thing to just see this little thing making that sound.
They have issues with allergies, skin and ear infections, spinal issues, and problems attributed to their bulging eyes.
And you have to be very vigilant on keeping their faces clean.
Absolutely. So there's a lot of
smegma.
maintenance. German Shepherds, and I did not know this, but they said they need a very specific lifestyle to thrive, and they are...
Order!
They are... We will ask the questions.
Order! You will sit!
And they are prone to... They are prone to joint issues as well.
Yeah, they bad hips and stuff like that.
No kidding.
Hip dysplasia is a bad issue for German Shepherds.
I want one that it's as my dog math is concerned.
They're beautiful dogs.
I would love to have a German Shepherd
Yes.
at some point before I leave this planet.
So, our neighbors and dear friends had 2 beautiful German Shepherds, and they're just gorgeous dogs.
They are gorgeous, but they shed too much. I couldn't have one around the house. That would drive me crazy.
If you knew that you were going to get a dog that was only going to live 8 or 9 years, as opposed to, I guess, a standard of like 12 or 13, would it dissuade you from getting that dog?
No, because I had Great Danes on my list as well. Bernese Mountain Dogs on my list.
And they're only like 8 to 10.
Our dog, our Clem, the Great Dane that we had that was huge. She just barely, I think, cleared 7 years. 8, it was sad, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
No, I probably wouldn't, Nick. I don't think so.
It's like the dog ownership is the best thing in the world, and then they just tear your heart out because you don't get to keep them long enough.
Yep. Great Dane is next on this list. They're well documented to suffer from a heart condition known as dilated cardiomyopathy, making it rough to say goodbye so young in life as it ends up affecting them, if it ends up affecting them.
Oh, yeah.
Like
That's my first experience with loss like that.
And then Dachshunds.
Dachshunds.
Yes.
Damn Dachshunds.
Dachshunds. Their build makes them beyond prone to beyond prone to severe back problems as they go through their life. They're super cute.
They are adorable.
I love dachshunds.
My sister just got one, and she said that if she had gotten a dachshund first, because she has a few dogs, she's like, I don't think I would have ever gotten any other kind of breed. She's like, I love him so much.
Aw.
He's really, really adorable.
Hang on, we have Tanya, who is a vet tech, and apparently going through the breed list thing is kind of a regular for her and coworkers. Hi, Tanya. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Sorry to bother you guys at work.
It's all right. We want to hear it. So you heard the breeds that I mentioned. You guys you have this conversation of which ones might be difficult to have as pets?
All the time. Even with my kids, like my son, he wants a Frenchie. And I'm like, no, they have breathing problems and skin issues. And they'll name any kind of dog, and I'll name some sort of problem. And they're at the point like, well, what kind of dog can we get then?
When you've eliminated them all.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. But I will say, you guys just said dachshunds. I am at heart like a big dog person. Pitties, Rotties, Dobermans. But I rescued a miniature long-haired dachshund, and we just got our second one. And I was so worried about the back issue thing, which is true, 100%. But like your sister said, they are the best dogs.
Again, these lists are suggestions. I'm sure you'd agree with this, Tanya. They're suggestions, but there's always, it doesn't matter. You get the kind of, I didn't think I'd be a fan of this kind of dog or this kind of cat or whatever, and then you lose your heart to them. So you take everything on a per case basis.
Right. I would just say, like, anybody who, has a breed that they're interested in, definitely do your research first and make sure that you are aware of what's, possible to come up. Make sure that your expenses can handle it, because that's another big one.
Yes, you have to worry about that and if you can't get pet insurance.
Right, absolutely. As soon as you have them as a puppy, before any pre-existing conditions, that is a wonderful thing to have on hand. And just one other thing, October 13th through the 17th, I know you guys are big animal people, but that's Vet Tech Appreciation Week. So if you guys have a vet clinic that you go to, share a little love for all the hard work that they do.
Drop off $1,000 for the vet techs.
And I will say, vet techs, we love our treats. So
All right. Fair enough. Thank you,
So
Tanya.
some whippets.
Appreciate it. It's when you are researching breeds, I mean, you're going to find any breed is going to have that little asterisk by it. So, like when we were looking, I was like, man, beagles are pretty cute. And then
They're adorable.
Yeah, but they howl all the time. Or like we have Yorkies and they're terriers, and like, oh, they dig up your yard. There's going to be something you're going to find in every breed.
Love the hell
Oh my
out of it.
God, they're just. I was getting. Last night I was making out with my dogs like you would not believe.
Oh, yeah?
Nom, 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 nom. They were just all over me, licking my face, and I just let them have at it.
We went from Chelsea, who was, about 45, 50 pounds, to Kizzy, who's over 100 pounds, and, Newfie, and I just, wrapping around, and I love it. They're just amazing.
You do that little trick with the peanut butter and you put it on your genitals.
I put it on her butt.
Okay.
And I lick it, and then it's so great. And she looks at me and she goes, you're disgusting. And I mean, she's not saying it, but it's something.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah. I put a Kong in her butt.
All right, we're going to do one more story. So those are just from some vet techs. All right, so give me the
Totally Presbo.
All right, you want to hear about vacationing or
Do we ever?
Or sleeping?
Do we ever? Oh, well, sleeping if we could.
You want sleeping?
I think sleeping pertains.
hang on
Right?
a second.
I think we're past vacations right now, and we're that time of year where people sleep.
Yeah, I just there was a physical trainer at my gym, Preston, yesterday, who was listening to us talk about sleep issues and your issue of you choking in your spit and when you fall asleep on your back
and crabbing yourself.
Okay. So he gave me some information to give to you about a possible dental appliance.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is from Dr. Mike Fernandez, who sent this to Casey. So thank
Preston, I heard about your problem concerning your breathing issues.
I appreciate that.
I've given something to Casey Boy to give to you. So if you find that it appeals to you, I would appreciate a call.
Did he speak
Long-time listener, first-time card sender to Casey to give to you.
Dr. Mike Fernandez.
Mike Fernandez.
He does not give off Fernandez vibes.
I do not.
Okay. Anyway,
totally Presbo.
A new sleep trend on TikTok known as adult swaddling.
Adult swaddling
has gained popularity for its claimed benefits of reducing anxiety, improving posture, and promoting restful sleep.
I can tell you right off the bat, I will probably not like this.
Yeah, me too.
I do not like the swaddle concept.
Me either.
I like just in case again a deer smashes through the window.
Yes.
I want to be able to extricate myself quickly from my blankets and chase it around the house.
My wife is 100% into this. She needs to be swaddled. She needs like the weighted blanket. She does the sweatshirt. And Steve, I am 100% with you. And this is exactly what she needs. It helps her get a better sleep.
You know what though, Nick? And I post medical procedures, post colonoscopy. They will swaddle you a bit.
Yes.
I'm okay with it at that point.
Right.
Yeah, well, once I've had my butthole rooted out.
You wake up all secure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm okay with swaddling for a moment.
Swaddling for a moment, but in regular sleep, I would find it would be a bad night's sleep.
I'm with you guys on that. I couldn't, no way I could do it all night. So the technique involves wrapping oneself tightly in cloth, similar to how babies are swaddled while lying in the fetal position. Advocates say it works by stimulating touch receptors in the skin, which can induce a calming effect. The trend took off after Hug Sleep Swaddle Blanket was featured.
Swaddle Blanket?
Yeah, it was featured on Shark Tank.
Oh.
And has since spread across TikTok. And there's videos of people getting all swaddled up.
I bought a weighted blanket for my wife. I thought she might like it, and she hated it. and this sucker was heavy,
dude. I mean,
it was almost like a Nick. It was almost like a bulletproof vest.
Yeah. I mean, we don't normally sleep together during the week, just like you guys. I sleep in a separate bed. But when we're sleeping together on the weekend, like the weighted blanket on her side of the bed, I'm like, you got to move that, lead thing on the. It's like she's getting X-rays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a straitjacket. I can't. I'm like, get this thing away from me.
The similar techniques.
I mean, we're looking at a picture of someone who's been swaddled.
That's Nick.
Is that you,
remember I
Nick?
swaddled him like a baby.
Oh my God! I don't remember doing that.
Yeah,
we did it recently within the last 2 years.
And you hated it, didn't you?
I don't know though. Is that me? Because I don't remember those shoes.
I know.
So it had to have been longer than 2 years ago.
I don't think that's if that's you, Kathy. That my perception of.
Yeah, we were wrapping you like a burrito.
I do like a burrito.
Well, we were talking about the baby swaddling, like when you swaddle them, with the little baby blanket, and I forget like how it comforts them or whatever.
What was your reaction to that? I don't recall.
I mean, I think like for 30 seconds on the here, it's fine. But
for a full night's sleep, no.
If I were to try to go to bed wearing that, no, forget it.
No.
Get me out of here!
I feel like a burrito.
So,
I feel like a burrito.
Some users claim swaddling helps with sleep issues and insomnia, as sleep experts caution that there isn't yet scientific evidence proving its effectiveness. However, similar techniques like weighted blankets have shown some potential to ease anxiety and improve sleep in small studies as well.
Do you think you could sleep in a device like a coffin?
No.
Yeah.
No. Not one that had a lid that closed.
Okay.
I could sleep in a bunk on a ship. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like the Navy, the U.S. Navy does, where they stack them like 3 high and stuff like that. I could sleep in something like that with a little curtain that closes, but a top shell that came down.
No. Yeah.
No, thank you. That would make me a little paranoid. And I'm not claustrophobic, but while trying to get sleep, yeah, I would have a hard time with that. All right, we got to wrap it up. We got to say bye, Presbo. That's it. Yep, I'm sorry.
Bye, Presbo.
All right.
Totally Presbo.
The reason we're wrapping up now is because we got to stay on time to get you $1,000. It's MMR's Good Money It's. We'll return with that in the Bizarre File. So make sure that you are with us. And later this morning, in case you missed out on the news, not only Colin Mochrie joining us from Whose Line Is It Anyway, but Sting himself will be on our program in the 9 o'clock hour. We'll be back. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
That's my thing.
Yes.
That clumsily walk on 2 legs and show their teeth are staggering around suburban Chicago, and authorities are warning locals to hide their pets. A spike in raccoons testing positive for distemper in Riverside, Illinois, is to blame for the bizarre sightings of contaminated animals that the disease causes to appear zombie-like. While zombie raccoons don't eat brains, distemper is highly contagious. If you're feeding wildlife and that raccoon ate out of your bowl or cat food for your stray cats and your puppy goes over, the saliva can be contagious.
They sent in a Negan raccoon to take care of everything.
Well. Looks like we got ourselves a problem in Chi-Town. Leaning back high. Looks like we got some trouble. Some trouble in Chi-Town. Going deep dish on this bitch.
It's got a little leather jacket he wears. Yeah.
Lean back, wait for. Hey. In the home of Oprah.
There we go. We had mentioned this earlier this morning, but it's definitely worth bringing up. The restaurant named Cadence, which is a BYOB on Girard Avenue, was named the best new restaurant by Food and Wine.
That's a super well respected journal in the world of the culinary happenings.
Yeah.
And so this is a big honor.
But in the order, you have Cadence is number 1 in Austin, Texas. Suerte. Frenchette in New York. Conby in Los Angeles. Kumiko in Chicago. These are all one-word names.
Manny's Chili Dogs.
Ah, that's on there. No, Pat's Chili Dogs.
Pat's Chili Dogs.
Definitely the best theme.
Yeah.
Voted #1 in Food and Wine magazine. Yeah, baby.
That was from the band Cinderella when they were big in the area. They did
We're Warren. When we're in town, we want some good chili dogs. We always read through Food and Wine magazine to see who won.
They did a commercial for Pat's Dogs.
That building is now a We Buy Gold.
Oh, is it really?
We buy gold. Gold for sale. No more chili dogs. I'm not going west. Next step, selling blood.
Yeah. So number 6 on this list is Ada, which is Ada Indian Canteen.
Ooh, I love canteens. When you go in that, you need water.
Fox and the Knife in Boston.
Boston sucks.
Hey, we beat Boston.
Yeah.
Love me some good Fox.
There you go.
Suck at Boston.
How's the Fox at this place?
Indigo in Houston. Nightshade in Los Angeles. And in New Orleans, a place called Piece of Meat.
There you go. You know, it's I think one of the most difficult parts of a restaurant would be a name that means something and pops to people.
Yeah.
You know, like Pat's Chili Dogs.
Right. That's. Yeah, I mean, the name will only get you so far, but it is an added bonus. Answer the phone, by the way. Thank you very much. I don't know. If you had a restaurant, what would you name it?
I'd name it Answer the Phone.
Thank you.
Because
I'm sorry. I'm tired of waving my arms.
Yeah.
It's been happening
You
the
lose
last few
business.
days, and I'm just going to say Answer the phone.
Answer
from
the
now on.
goddamn phone.
Yeah, answer. In fact, I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
That should be the name of the restaurant.
Answer the goddamn.
Answer the goddamn phone.
Answer the goddamn phone! Great food! Answer the goddamn phone! Open all night!
We knew we were going to have one gentleman for sure that was coming in. We have two here this morning. This is a momentous occasion.
Call it an honor.
I'd have to say because he is the best-looking 60-year-old man I've ever seen in my life. It's his birthday today.
Yes.
So we first want to welcome our friend Sean Wayans, who's been here on many occasions. And his brother, Keenan Ivory Wayans, is here. Celebrating his birthday today.
Hello, this is how you do it.
This is how you do it, man. Welcome to Philadelphia.
Yeah, well, now all the women in my family are going to kill you because you said my age. And they all lie about theirs.
You were working as a stand-up when you met Robert Townsend, correct?
Yeah, well, when I met Robert and Eddie and all of us, we all started out at the same time and in the club in New York at the Improv.
Yeah.
And that's sort of how we, started working together.
And you I believe, if the legend is correct, that you are one of the writers or co-writers on Raw, correct?
Yeah, on Raw. I worked on that with Eddie. I also produced it, and Robert directed it.
I remember that day.
Oh, there was a picture. Put the picture back up. Yeah.
I was back there with you guys, right? And I was slapboxing with Eddie, and I almost hit him, and then security grabbed me and was like, all right. All right, Junior, you about to mess up this money. Go sit your ass down.
Wow.
So that's cool. But all you guys have had such a massive effect on comedy and a type of comedy that I love, we all love, that is, you helped usher it in. Eddie Murphy did as well.
What happened in my career was I started out, sort of by myself.
Yeah.
And then as my family started getting into the business, I kind of realized that it was either going to be all of us or one. So I decided to make it about all of us. So I kind of stepped away from acting and started to
cultivate.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sean, we were talking earlier about how you were first on the show as the DJ.
Yeah.
And you'd already been doing comedy. You're doing stuff like that. But so from your point, Keenan, as you're seeing family member after family member, I want to do this. I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a double-edged sword, or what do you first say to them when they come to you and they say you as sort of the default patriarch? I want to do this.
He nurtured us.
Yeah.
My thing with them was as long as you're willing to work. I always wanted them to know that it wasn't easy, and I would give them small opportunities in the beginning. I never gave anyone a starring role who wasn't ready, and like I said, I made sure that they all put in their work, and it is the fact that they're where they are in their careers now is testament to the fact that they came in the right way.
Did anybody ever get mad at you saying, "Hey, I'm ready for my starring role"?
Always. When Damon first started,
I was the DJ, man.
And you were a damn good DJ.
I could play sketches too and scratch.
Hey, the guy right behind you is really talented.
Well, when Damon first started, I told him, I said, "Give yourself 10 years." Yeah. And he looked at me like I was insane, and he was like, "It's gonna take me 10 years." Well, 10 years later, he was ready.
We say the same. I tell like the interns and people are coming up in the radio business, and now we've been, it's the 20th anniversary of the show, and I say, trust me, if you were to jump 5 years into the future and look back, you wouldn't believe where you were or how things have changed. Yeah. So that's very sage advice. But when you're young and hungry, it's hard to perceive that.
It is, and the thing is, youth is something that people think everything is supposed to happen when you're young.
Right.
And they're disappointed if it doesn't, because youth is when, you make the money, you chase the girls, you do. Yeah. That's the experience that everybody wants, as opposed to being great at what you do. And being great at what you do takes a lot more time than that. And sometimes, youth passes you by. And I tell people all the time, if your goal is to be a CEO of a company, it doesn't matter if it happens at 20 or 60. You still accomplish your goal.
Yeah. All right. So you have to be a really good talent scout, right? So within Living Color, were you the sole decision maker as far as who was on the cast and who wasn't?
Yeah.
All right, so it was because you did an amazing job with that, and you look at all of the people that came out of there.
Well, they were all people that I knew.
That you knew.
Right? So we were all in the clubs together.
Okay.
So when I got an opportunity, it was like, who's the funniest guys I know? Like, it wasn't really like a hard thing to do because I knew they were funny.
You were working with people like Jim Carrey and then all those guys were paying their dues.
And he knew what to do with them.
Right. But that's a key. That is a gift. There's Lorne Michaels has that that ability, and also who's going to synergize well with each other.
But you also, your show aired at 8:00 on Sunday, and so you had a younger audience in myself.
Right.
And I mean, I loved it. You know what I mean? Like Ace Ventura came out, I was like all over that. And
it got moved to 8. Started at 9.
Did it start at 9?
Yeah.
What did Parker Lewis Can't Lose? Was that your lead?
The Ferris Bueller ripoff?
I love that show too.
Fox wanted to make it an anchor show.
Okay.
So they moved us to 8.
Did they initially, or because would it first really, because it kind of hit the ground running, if my memory was, and did they go, whoa, we need to bump this up?
Yeah, well, initially they were very afraid of the show.
Yeah.
Period. Like they had no idea what was going to happen. But once the show was successful, then it was like every network strategy is going to be how many other shows can we launch?
Right.
So, they ended up moving us.
In this day and age of reboots, we're seeing TV shows rebooted. What's the likelihood? We don't have a good sketch show. SNL's the only thing going right now, as far as I know.
I think there's absolutely a new generation.
Yeah.
So it would just. I don't think that the guys from the past would
step forward.
Yeah, want to do that again. But there's absolutely a new generation out there, and it would be fun.
Yeah.
We're in a time now where I think a show like In Living Color is needed, but at the same time, it's the sensitivity.
Can you do it?
Yeah,
no, that's a good question. We were wondering about that, about the. Preston and I were having a talk earlier about the comedy club or the theater. When you guys are there, that's your realm, and all bets are off. You should be allowed. There's safe spaces for satire and comedy and thought provoking, whatever you want to do. That's your palette. And there's been hits on it lately.
It's the phone.
Yeah.
You see, because
absolutely
the people who are in the club, they paid to be there and they want to see it.
Yeah.
But people who are filming, now it's going to people who didn't want to see it.
You're right.
Then when they do see it, now they're pissed. It's never the people who were in.
That's why I didn't want to go. See that?
Well, speaking of that, even some rock bands have adopted no phone.
I don't think phones should
get
be
out
allowed.
of here.
I think you're there for the experience and enjoy the experience. And
well, Kevin Hart played the Link, the stadium here, and there was a no phone rule for that whole show. It can be done. It's a pain in the ass, but I mean, I would agree.
Yes, you lift a clip out, you lift a soundbite out of context, and people are going to go ape.
It's just crazy.
I heard somebody, and I don't remember who the performer was, saying recently though that it's really easy to see from the stage when somebody does get on their phone. Have you guys noticed that? Like if you're up on stage, you can tell immediately.
If the light is on,
you can tell, but you just don't want to stop. You got to understand. You got people in the palm of your hand.
Yeah.
You got momentum going,
right?
And you're thinking about your next thing, and you're trying to be physical, and you're trying to be in the moment, and then someone has their phone up. Do you stop your whole show to deal with this guy with his phone up, and then kill the people's?
No,
show?
you're right. So you're going to ruin it for other people. It makes total sense.
Sometimes you do, and you make him part of the show, and you destroy him for being the idiot.
Which is also
pulling the phone
good.
out. But
You channel your Richard Pryor.
if I gotta stop, I'm gonna destroy you.
Keenan, I have to tell you that I'm gonna Get You Sucker is one of my absolute favorite movies.
Thank you.
Hilarious. I think people need to revisit it, but I think it's also sort of it's the likely first step to getting to Don't Be a Menace, which, that same sort of comedy, which has became the style of comedy. When you were putting that together, how difficult was that to pull everybody? You had a lot of, cameos and stuff. Give us the idea of what that production was like.
I was very lucky. And Jim Brown really...
Philadelphia. It's time for a Good Money It keyword.
The word is spend, S-P-E-N-D. We're going to give you until 15 minutes after the hour to enter it. 3 ways for you to do it. You can enter it at WMMR.com through the MMR app, or you can text it to the special contest short code number, which we have set up. It's 45911. One random entry wins $1,000 in our company-wide contest, and each winner gets a call from Beasley. Make sure that you answer your phone. There are contest rules available at WMMR.com. And the whole event is sponsored by Horizon Services, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Let me give you that word again. It is spend, S-P-E-N-D, and you need to enter that right now, so we wish you good luck. We're going to take a look at traffic and see how we are faring on the roads. Kathy, what's up this morning?
We've got jam traffic on the Blue Route northbound 95 to the Media Bypass, southbound the Mid-County tolls to the Schuylkill, and then for the Media Bypass to Baltimore Pike, 95 southbound. Slowing from Academy to Cotman, the Betsy Ross Bridge into Girard, and then Ridley Park to the Blue Route northbound side from 452 Market Street to the Commodore Barry Bridge. Schuylkill westbound jams Passyunk to Girard, and then the Boulevard to Belmont. Then again at the Conshohocken curve, eastbound 202 into Belmont, the Boulevard to University. Pennsylvania Turnpike westbound, Volume Building from Willow Grove to Fort Washington. 55 northbound, so it's 47 to 42. And then in Delaware, Route 1 northbound between Route 40 and 273 were jammed, and that's because of a left lane accident. This traffic report brought to you by Polestar. Philadelphia is open by King of Prussia Mall. They welcome you with competitive lease offers and available inventory that brings electric vehicle performance home. PolestarPhiladelphia.com. And that's your traffic on 93.3 WMMR.
WMMR presents Preston and Steve's Bizarre File.
Brought to you this morning by Delco Trim Light. Visit DelcoTrimLight.com to schedule an estimate on installation of the coolest permanent programmable holiday lighting system around. All right, we'll begin with this weird little story. A hired photographer was removed from an elementary school after allegedly making inappropriate comments to students during picture day, and they are odd, inappropriate comments. The photographer was kicked off of school property at Chittum Elementary School in Chesapeake, Virginia on Monday. In an email to parents on Wednesday, Principal Bridget Outlaw confirmed that the photographer was escorted off campus for making inappropriate comments to students. The incident was brought to light via a viral Facebook post from a woman who identified herself as a parent of a child at the school. She claimed that the photographer asked her son, "Can I steal your identity?" and "Can I eat your soul?"
What?
In the Facebook post, which I'd rather ask if they could touch you, than...
I apologize to anyone who's been offended by my fictional creations, Chrysagon, the philosopher of evil, and the skull seer.
So that's what he did after that.
Can I eat your soul? In the Facebook post, which has now reportedly been made private, the woman's son was asked what the photographer could eat, if not his soul, and the boy replied, "I don't know, noodles."
Yeah, there's a clear-thinking kid. Maybe instead of souls, have you tried ramen?
Well, and then the photographer replied, "Demons don't eat noodles."
Oh, boy.
She said her son was uncomfortable with the photographer's questions.
I've done some photography work before, and I think I'd be very suitable for this particular assignment.
And cried after reporting comments to the comments.
I just keep thinking of It's Always Sunny with the troll toll, and he's going to eat the boy's soul.
Oh, my God. Eat this boy's whole. And
I assume they are not going to use this guy again.
And in an email sent to parents, Principal Bridget Outlaw said that the parents of the students reported the incident to the administrators, who then had the photographer removed from the property. Outlaw said the photography company was also notified, swiftly addressed the situation, and started an investigation. Photography company Lifetouch, who employed the individual, is now investigating the incident as well.
Do we have a good demon photographer?
I don't think so.
No.
We need to look into that. Australia's most sexually active woman has shared an update on her bid to sleep with 600 people in 2024.
Oh, okay. Good luck.
600 people. So that's 2 a day, right?
Annie Knight, well, I'll give you the rundown of that. Annie Knight had a goal in 2023 to sleep with 365 people, and in 2024, she decided to level up and sleep with 600 people throughout the year. She said, last year, everyone started talking about me because I was talking about my sexual escapades online, and I mentioned how many people I'd slept with, and it went viral, and everyone was talking about it. And I thought, why not make it a bit of fun and make it a challenge? Ms. Knight, who publishes content on an adult subscription platform, revealed in the interview that she had just over 400 people, saying she was trying to use dating apps and meet people organically in real life. But in a bid to hit her goal, she has started taking applications from her followers where people can apply to sleep with her.
God.
She was hit with an influx of applications saying she didn't know why she hadn't done this sooner.
Yeah, it seems so much fun.
The criteria was that the person had to be okay with being filmed, but they had the option to have their face blurred if they've been tested for sexually transmitted diseases and send images of themselves.
Yes, I'm a school photographer. I want my face blurred, please.
She said she is really picky, and while sometimes
she seems really picky,
she drops the bar, there is definitely a certain standard potential partners have to meet in the looks department.
Girl, you're too picky. If you've only slept with 600 guys this year, you got to relax a bit.
Her goal to hit 600 people in a year means that she would need to sleep with 1.6 people a day, but did reveal that there are days where she simply isn't bothered.
Dude, that'd be disgusting, sleeping with a 0.6 person.
Wait, so she has to sleep with multiple people in a day?
Yes,
then?
yes.
Well, here's what she said. She said, you can't cut people in half. Some days I might sleep with 5 people, and the next few days I might not sleep with anyone.
She's definitely getting paid for this.
She said, I do get tired. It is exhausting, and I need to have a break. I don't always feel like having sex, and I don't want to force myself to it if I'm not in the mood. She revealed that the most amount of people that she slept with in a day is 16.
Oh,
16?
Yes.
What the hell on?
Ms. Knight,
I had to tap out at 12.
Who revealed that she is likely to make between $3 and $4 million this financial year, said marketing was important as not everyone was going to make it in the industry.
So who's paying her?
I would imagine her subscribers.
Yes,
she
generated
I guess she's on
content.
OnlyFans.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get off.
Yes.
That's number 600.
When you were a program director, is that right?
But it doesn't always go to plan. She said the world was her oyster, but she has people shout gross things at her on the street.
No, that's just wrong.
Which makes her feel uncomfortable.
She's just sleeping with 600 guys.
Ms. Knight said that she wasn't a sex toy and that people need to treat her like a human being.
Right.
So she's 400 into 600.
I bet she's very clean.
All right, this is messed up, okay? On Wednesday, the Gettysburg student newspaper, first reported that at least 2 students had been suspended from the college's swim team after a racial slur was scratched onto the body of a student.
What?
2 days later, the family of the student who had the racial slur cut onto their body at a swim team gathering contacted the paper with a statement on the incident, which is currently under investigation by the college. The family statement says their son was the victim of a hate crime, which took place on Friday, September 6th at a men's team gathering where their son was the only person of color. The statement goes on to share that this, quote, reprehensible act was committed by a fellow student athlete, someone their son considered his friend, someone who he trusted. And this student used a box cutter to etch the N-word across his chest. That's insane.
Well, you could kill somebody doing that.
Gettysburg's statement said students involved are not participating in swim team activities pending the outcome of the student conduct process, but did not release the names of any students involved, citing privacy laws and the ongoing nature of the student conduct process. The school says that an upperclassman member of the team reported the incident to authorities. The victim's family said in their statement the victim is one of the students dismissed from the team activities. They said he did not choose the color of his skin tone, but has chosen to embrace the strength and diversity it represents. Our son did not choose to be shunned and isolated at the behest of some who play lip service to inclusion and diversity. In a school-wide email, Gettysburg President Bob Iliano said that it was upperclassmen from the team who first reported the incident, and he expressed his profound distress over the incident, adding, no matter the relationship, no matter the motivation, there's no place on this campus for words or actions that demean, degrade, or marginalize based on one's identity and history. That is just disturbing.
You're attacking someone with a box cutter. You could kill them.
Yep. Well, I mean, even if you weren't, just scratching that word on someone, I mean, come on. Something is broken in your life. All right, and then we need a lighter story to end with. We're not going to end on that. Fruit enthusiasts have been flocking to Saskatchewan, Canada in search of purple apples after an image went viral on social media and claimed that they were a local delicacy. The original post, shared by an Instagram user, featured the striking purple apples and falsely claimed in the caption that they originated from Saskatchewan.
We're going to Saskatchewan.
The fake fruit quickly gained attention across social media, prompting curious individuals to visit local markets in search of the colorful apples. They actually do look really cool. However, the photos were artificially generated, as confirmed by Rachel Hoffmeister, a horticulturalist. And Saskatchewan, she explained that while Saskatchewan has developed many apple varieties, none are purple, despite the viral post's claims.
I do like
and
the way
she
they look,
mentioned that her garden center receives phone calls whenever AI-generated plant images go viral, highlighting how easily misinformation can spread. They do look, don't they look cool?
Yeah, they can do all sorts. They do those cubed watermelons.
Yep.
Can't they do this? Come on.
I don't know if they can do that. Maybe they're working on it. We'll have to see. All right, and there you go. That's what I have in the B file for you. Little under 5 minutes left to enter the word for our Good Money It cash giveaway. The word is spend, and you need to send that over to us. You can text it to 45911, or you can go through WMMR.com or MMR app and enter the word spend. But get it over to us now because we want you to win $1,000. And still, this morning, we have tickets to see Metallica to give away. Both shows. You can win them in 10 days of Metallica, so listen up for that. We're going to return after a quick break, and we will have Mr. Colin Mochrie of Whose Line Is It Anyway fame joining us. He is going to be performing at the Keswick Theater on Saturday with Brad Sherwood. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
He and Bernie Casey, once they came on,
That got it done?
That got it done. Then everybody else was like, well, if they'll do it. And
they were essential.
Yeah.
They were what Leslie Nielsen was.
Yes, they were the icons of the era. And so once I was able to bring them on board, it went really smooth. And it really was, it was an homage to them. So
and the blaxploitation movies of the 70s.
Those are the movies I grew up watching, and
so did I. They were
enjoyed
awesome.
them.
Yeah.
So, when I was writing it affectionately. So that's why I think that they responded to it. And then these guys did the same thing for their generation with Don't Be a Menace.
Yeah.
So I was on the set of I'ma Get You Sucker, 17-year-old boy watching his big brother do his thing and just taking it all in and going, man, one day I want to do a movie just like this.
Yeah, and you did.
A couple of years later.
Yeah.
Don't Be a Menace was born.
It's Sean and Keenan Ivory Wayans here, and we want to do something special because it's a special day, and we have something to bring out for Keenan. It is his birthday today, so we got a cake for you, Keenan. Yes.
He don't eat cake, though.
No, actually I don't, but I appreciate the 7 candles. It's my 7th birthday.
There you go. So you can blow out the candles and everything.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Choo-choo, choo-choo, kaboogie, boop-boop, ba-doop-boop, ba-doobie, boo-boo-boo, boo-boo-boo, boo-boobie.
Wow. Didn't even know we had that. All right, so the band Korn has posted a cryptic message on its Instagram account suggesting some sort of announcement is imminent.
I love when you get mad at yourself.
It is inevitable. Inevitable. The post shows a black and white image of what appears to be a tangle of cables with fans asking to visit the band's website.
I like it.
What was the
There's a fart
at the
I
end?
don't know where the fart came from, but I love it.
Play that at regular speed,
right.
please.
That's the greatest sound I've ever heard. One more time.
Marissa, trace that back to April 20th, 2017. Kathy thinks this is hilarious.
Not even. Like it boggles my mind how you still find it this funny that the three of you can't contain yourselves.
It's great. It's everything you want to say. Sometimes the words don't come to you.
I
play it again.
Which speed?
Slow. Let's do it slow.
Okay.
I can see you give it like a little chuckle and then move on.
No.
But at this point, we've been here like 3 minutes now.
You're not seeing the greater picture. So as it's gearing up in classic corn fashion to be this aggressive sort of war chant, it's completely undermined by the childlike poot. It's two completely conflicting attitudes.
Hey, by the way, nobody else is laughing.
Yeah.
So it's not just Kathy is not laughing. Nick's not laughing, and none of our interns are laughing.
Marissa has a smile on her face. Hang on a
Do
second.
you ever see Amadeus?
I usually don't find farts funny at all, Kathy. That one caught me off guard.
Okay. Because it's more of a it's more of a raspberry than it is actual gas. Yeah. So.
And also the mystery of it. It's like an escape room. How did it happen?
We don't know. We may never know.
We may never know.
Okay. Music news.
Yeah.
Turn the
one more.
Stop the press. I go ahead.
What was that?
That was a mistake.
It just can't. There can't be more of these gems.
Can you do that more than twice?
It's like finding a separate cavern in a diamond mine.
Okay. See, sometimes when you hit this button, it doesn't work. So when I hit it twice, it went burp burp.
Yeah.
Look, Chuck's laughing so hard he's crying in the other room. I love it, Chuck.
Anybody that doesn't find that hilarious is dead inside.
Yeah, dead inside.
Or just a little more mature.
Oh, God.
I wish the button was
What is
better.
great is that you have a massive company, a media company, Beasley, who's currently paying us to do this.
Dude, they took us down to D.C. last
They
week
did
for
some big award in front of senators.
Yeah.
That's how stupid we are.
Or
they're bad.
Genius.
Or we
make a
pulled
living.
fast one. Yeah.
We make a living out of this.
There you go. Follow your dream.
2 is funnier than 3 or 4, I think.
Yeah.
Wait.
It sounds like a wrong answer type of thing. Is it Sputnik? Ah, man.
1 for yes, 2 for no.
Or double A.
Triple O.
MCO.
Let's stick with rumors. Viewers, will they want to keep up with the Kardashians if Kourtney leaves? And we might find out for months now.
Oh, please.
Tension between Kourtney and her sisters have been rising. Last summer on Keeping Up, viewers saw Kim and Kourtney reach an almost breaking point over their differing priorities in terms of family and work. And in a recent interview with Paper, Kourtney confessed that she'd love to leave the show in the dust. She said, I will always say I want to move away someday and just be away from it all. Sail away.
Sail away.
No one will ever see me again. I keep throwing up different places. I'm going to throw up.
I keep throwing up in different places.
I keep throwing up.
Puke.
I keep throwing up different places, but then I'll go there and visit. And she's going to sail away.
She's going to sail away, just like sticks.
But then I'll go there to visit, and I'll be like, nope, this isn't it. But I'm glad I came.
She's just afraid of Chloe coming after her.
Yeah. She said, we've just been to Finland. And I was like, check. It's great for me to visit, but I'm not going to move there. Maybe Norway, Switzerland. I've got lots of ideas.
She does have a lot of ideas.
That's according to Kourtney.
They're all annoying.
On Sunday, producer Ryan Seacrest was put on the spot by an ET reporter who brought up the subject.
Do you think that Kourtney is gonna leave the show? You think Kourtney's gonna leave Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
ET is a reporter, mind you, so yeah.
I'll always be right here.
Seacrest seemed taken aback.
Why? Because I'm from another planet? Are you a xenophobe?
But then said, well, if the cameras go away, as long as they can come back, Courtney.
On my home planet, I was a botanist.
He said, they can go away for a little bit, but bring them back so we can do another season or two. Honestly, I don't know how they do it. He said, I couldn't do it no matter what they were paying them.
I can make things levitate. Just thought I'd throw that in.
He said, I could not do it, so I give them a lot of credit for having those cameras in their lives all the time. And I love you, Courtney. Love her.
He loves her.
He loves her.
Well, that show has made millions for him.
Oh, my God, yes.
Honestly, I have to say, I thought that meteor would have crashed Earth long ago. And they still keep renewing it.
It's very resilient.
I wonder if it's like
don't get it.
Alcoholism or something. You're just addicted and you just do it out of routine.
Maybe. You know what? American audiences always need, though, that super rich family to watch.
True. And there's
what
no.
They do.
Well, I guess there are a few of those. In fact, maybe even Dynasty itself is on. But
I think that kind of covered the bill for a while. Then now we get reality TV, which takes over for that.
So that's like the Real Housewives and all that stuff. Maybe you're right.
So,
I don't know. It's annoying.
I don't watch any of them.
None of it?
I'm a botanist.
Okay. No interest.
Yeah.
All right, so this is interesting. Haven't heard this name in a little while. All eyes were on Val Kilmer as he took center stage Sunday night at a benefit for his Twain Mania Foundation, created to impact the iconic writer Mark Twain's legacy to children. The 59-year-old posed on the carpet with a pair of binoculars around his neck.
How's he looking, by the way?
I have not seen the photos, Steve. I'm not really sure if we have any. If you guys
to be honest,
find any, that'd be great.
There was a point there. Huh? Yeah, he looks okay. He had throat cancer, some sort of variation
I've got a
of
little information on that coming up. But we're looking at a picture of him right now. He was heavy for a while.
He was very heavy.
He got pretty hefty. Looks like he's lost the weight, but man, has he done some work on his face.
He's Mickey Rourke-ified.
Yeah, he's aged clearly, but you can tell that there's been some work around the eyes and the cheeks. And that just, I couldn't tell you. If you showed me that picture and said, who is this? I couldn't tell you that's Val Kilmer.
It looks like a drag queen pretending they're Val Kilmer.
Yeah, kind of like that.
He's not going to be featured in
UMMR.
All right, thanks, Kath. Our next guest is wonderful, just fabulously hilarious, and is going to be performing at the Keswick Theater with an equally hilarious individual, Mr. Brad Sherwood. The show is called Asking for Trouble. You know him from years on Whose Line Is It Anyway, Whose Line Is It Anyway, as well as many other TV shows and so forth. Please welcome Mr. Colin Mochrie.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Please stay seated.
Thank you. We'll make you feel as comfortable as you can. Great to have you on, Colin. And you and Brad, two of my favorites from that show. How far back do the two of you go?
Over 30 years now. Wow. We've been touring the show 23 years, but we've known each other slightly longer than that.
I was reading an interview with you, and you said that the first episode you did of Whose Line Is It Anyway, your daughter was just a couple of months old, and now she's like 32, 33?
Yeah, she just turned 34. The new season just came out.
Jeez.
It's like the living dead of TV shows.
Yeah, you know what blew my mind also about the way you put the show together, Colin, and it never occurred to me. I always thought, okay, per episode basis, you show up, and maybe there was a little bit of like a game show thing where you do a couple at once. But you basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, you do like 4 big shows, and you would cut that up into the season, right? Mm-hmm. Which makes sense, but I don't know why that never occurred to me. And then, are there a number of shows where you're wearing the same clothes? we never caught it?
Absolutely. You'll see the same audience members behind Aisha's head. Actually, the new season that just came out, we didn't actually have to film anything this year. They had extra from last year. So they've made a new season from just the extra footage that they had.
The show is great, and it's obviously there was the British version and obviously the American version, and it just works. And I have to think that a large appeal of it, besides being uproariously funny to people, the networks or whatever, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking there's really not a lot of overhead to the show. It's as I mean, as efficient to produce as possible. Did they ever give you
the word you're looking for is cheap?
Cheap is probably the word, but yet
in the history.
Yeah, but it shows how it can still be great. So yeah.
When we first were doing the show with Drew hosting, we were after his show. We had great ratings, and then someone noticed how cheap the show was, and then put us up against Friends and Survivor. Don't know if you remember them; they were very popular. And so we would get destroyed in the ratings every week, but we still made money for the company because it was so cheap. Our entire show cost less than one friend.
Wow. You're less than one friend for the entire cost of Whose Line Is It Anyway? That's amazing.
That is
It's
efficient.
sobering, actually.
Colin, reading up a little bit about you and your background, I was reading that you were a bit of a shy kid in your developmental days, and it's so wild to see that you have turned into a performer the way that you have. What broke you out of your shell? What did it and made you become an on-stage performer?
I think it was as simple as getting laughs and just going, okay, this is what I want now. And, I'm still not the most comfortable person off stage, but certainly the success of the show has helped with that. But, when I'm on stage, I'm with people I trust. Everybody knows what they're doing. I know it's all going to end up all right. All guarantees we don't have in real life.
Is it almost like an alter ego scenario?
Oh, absolutely. My wife calls the guy on Whose Line the other.
The other. That's ominous.
Unlike me. Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny because my father, growing up, was a huge fan, and I became a huge fan as well of Jonathan Winters. And he would listen. There would be record albums, Jonathan Winters performing, and then he was, to me, seemed to be the first person I became aware of doing a lot of improvisational stuff, and Robin Williams as well. And I think both of those people, when you'd see them interviewed a lot of times, despite the kinetic energy on stage during performance, were kind of shy as well. Would you say that's the case?
Yeah, absolutely. I know a lot of performers who off stage are like painfully shy, but there's something that happens when you're out there. And, with us, I think it's also, we're just trying to save our butts the entire time we're up there because we don't have a script. So that's our main focus as opposed to what am I doing with my life?
Yeah, well, I was in an improv group years ago. I'd been doing stand-up, and it's a funny dynamic. Obviously, not to the Rolls Royce level of you guys, but and you were talking about it. I was reading an interview. Improv is a relatively young form of comedy and entertainment, right? I mean, its origins don't go back that far.
When we started Whose Line, nobody really knew what improv was. That sort of got improv into the public lexicon. I mean, it had been used as a tool for actors to, explore their characters. The Second City used it to come up with new scenes for their shows. But yeah, it is a fairly new art form.
Yeah, and speaking of Second City, I know you have your history with it, and obviously some of the all-time greats do as well. Last year, I took a trip to Chicago, and Casey, our producer here, was like, well, I was talking about some things to do. So why don't you go to Second City? And I had always considered it as kind of almost like an ultra-touristy thing to do. And he's like, no, go. So my son and I went, and I'm telling you, I just was rolling with laughter all night long. I thought maybe these would be the people that are still trying to grind it out and find their way. No, sharp and incredibly talented people. And this is going on all the time. Do you make it your way back to Second City at all as a returning guest, or just to go and see what the shows are like these days?
Oh, absolutely. They just had a recent opening, and I was a part of that. And whenever they need someone to sort of tout the place, I'm there, because it really was, I think for a lot of us, it was a comedy college. I mean, everybody sort of came in with their selves partially developed. And then going through Second City, you learned how to perform every night. You learned how to improvise every night. You learned how to work with people with different points of view. So it was an amazing time. And it's like the mafia. You can't really leave it.
You can't. You're in for life. With Asking for Trouble, and obviously you're going to be doing, I assume, a lot of the games that, Whose Line Is It Anyway made famous. And there was a whole bunch, and there were audience favorites. What was your favorite? What do you feel really exhibited your capabilities?
I don't know if it exhibited my capabilities, but the one I always enjoyed was the greatest hits. Because, I mean, first of all, I got to sit down, which is always great. And then it was Ryan and I bantering for a bit, and then watching these amazing musical improvisers do their thing. So I got to be a viewer, I got to be a participant, and it consistently was a fun game for me.
Colin, I want to ask you about finding new audiences, because I love the show when it was on, 25 or so years ago. But the clips will still show up on my Instagram feed. And one that I probably saw when it came out, but had forgotten about, was a sea shanty. And it went Wayne, Drew, you, and then Ryan. And Drew just completely garbled a word. He didn't, and so then you ended up saying meow like a cat, and then Ryan just completely rhymed the jumbled garble thing that Drew had said. And I watched it like 7 times. I was laughing my ass off. But that's new to somebody, right? Like somebody's seeing that for the first time, and I'm thinking that maybe those people will end up coming to see you guys at the Keswick. Is that something that happens for you guys?
Absolutely. We found like maybe 10 years into our tour, we noticed our audiences were getting younger, which doesn't happen. And it was because of the internet. They were finding the show on YouTube. They were getting into it. Their parents sort of encouraged them. And so hopefully that'll keep happening until my hips give out.
You have hip dysplasia. So obviously it was a big hit in England, and you were working on that as well. Come over to the United States. How essential was Drew Carey to making the show move on to its next phase and make it the multi-decade hit that it's been?
Oh, he was a major influence. There's times I think, how did they even pitch this to network television? It's 4 guys you don't know who don't have a show until the audience yells at them. Yeah, great. We'll take 22 episodes. It was because Drew had been a fan of the British one. It was once he was attached, then it was golden, and it became the show it became, and it's all due to Drew Carey.
It's funny because improvisation and improvisational comedy, you can have a fantastic night, you can have an off night, and I understand that your first audition didn't quite go the way you wanted to, but that it was Ryan Stiles who said, let's take another crack at it maybe, and that's when it all kicked in.
Yeah. The first time we auditioned, they had come to see our show at Second City, loved it and loved the cast. And so we auditioned the next morning at 8, which when you're at Second City is a bad time of day for you. Yeah. And we were doing that thing because we were a cast. Everybody was, supporting everybody. So nobody stood out. And it wasn't until my next audition, when I was auditioning with a bunch of people I didn't know, I just went, hey, look at me. So there's an important lesson there for the kids. Always save yourself.
Yourself first. Yeah.
Colin, Mochrie, and Brad Sherwood are playing. It's Saturday, October 5th. It's called Asking for Trouble at the Keswick Theater. Colin, when I've been in audiences, and I want to see if this rings true to you as well, in an audience of an improv show, part of me as an audience member, I actually feel a little nervous for you guys, the performers, because you're doing so without a net, especially when you're taking suggestions from the audience, even scenarios and objects and whatever that have to be woven into what you're doing. And part of me feels nervous, oh my God, they're going to tank.
Yeah.
And when you don't, and when you nail it, it makes it even that much more hilarious to me personally. Does that seem like that connects with you guys?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, that is the beauty of improv. The audience has a vested interest in it because they're giving the suggestions. They want to see us succeed, I would say mostly. And if we do start to fail, that's where some of the excitement comes in. How are they going to get out of this?
Yeah.
How will they turn this around? So there is that excitement that you don't usually get at stand-up or plays even. There's, as you say, we're all on edge.
Yeah, and the audience is actively participating, and you will have that. And I think you'll have some people up on stage. You've done that, of course. It's part of the deal. Does anyone ever try to worm their way in or ply anybody at the various theaters you play with a little cash inducement to make sure they get up on stage, or how?
We do get requests, but it's also totally random.
Yeah.
Usually, we pick couples. That way they feel a little more safe with each other's, because it can be a little disorienting when you get up there with the lights and the audience. And we try to make it as safe as possible because they're part of the show now. We want them to do as well as they can. So if you're jumping up and down, waving your hands, I can guarantee we will not pick you.
A little too eager.
Is it better to have people drinking or non-drinking at your show? Because obviously the TV show, I'm assuming everybody was sober there.
Yeah, sure. I would say a couple of drinks to relax, but I wouldn't go too far.
Right.
I had received a tweet from or an X or whatever the hell you call it from somebody who knew you were coming onto the show and asked about a sourdough video that we should ask you about a sourdough video, and I have no idea what that pertains to. Do you have any idea what they were talking about?
I do. Rosie O'Donnell and I did a video at the Bodine bread company at Disney Adventure. And it's all about how to make sourdough. So catch it if you can.
And is it like a fan favorite? Is it a...
Apparently, people keep mentioning it. I barely remember doing it. But yeah, I can't imagine it's that much fun, but people do bring it up a lot.
Well, Tom Papa is a great stand-up comedian, is a massive proponent of sourdough bread, and he's quite adept at making them. So... maybe there's a pairing in your future. I mean, the great giants meet in the world of sourdough.
It would be great. Let's make it happen.
Colin, I assume one of the most referenced episodes would have been with Richard Simmons. It constantly circulates on social media. Can you tell us a little bit about that particular night? And because it just seemed like it was out of the park as you could possibly get.
Yes. We never knew who guests were going to be or if there were going to be guests. It was always a surprise. So when Richard came on, I thought, this will be fun. He certainly brought a lot of energy. And then in that particular scene, he was so committed. What I loved about him was he was there to have fun, and he was up for anything. And that... there is one point during that scene when I'm using him as a jet ski.
Yes.
That they actually had to cut down the reaction because I was there for like 2 minutes with his head bobbing at my crotch. That is a long time. It may not sound like much, but that is an incredibly long time.
Yeah.
I still think that is like one of the funniest things that's ever been on television. And it was all due to Richard.
That's so great. And I remember when Robin Williams, in fact, appeared on the show as well. Was that a case of everything you'd hoped he would be? I assume so.
He was everything and more. And he was, first of all, he was an Oscar winner doing our show, which was okay. And everyone's energy went up 150%. He was one of those people, he knew all the crew's names within 10 minutes. Aww. He was so much fun and so generous with us. And I think that made it an incredibly special memory for all of us.
Wow, had to have been. I wanted to ask about some other things that you're involved in. Can you tell us a little bit about, I just read a tiny bit about Old Enough and what that is?
Old Enough started in Japan. It's a series about, in the Japan a series, they send young children, 3 to 5, to do chores.
Oh,
That's it. And it is fascinating. Huh. And so we're doing a North American version, which has just started. It's odd because of the two cultures are quite different. When you're in Japan, you'll see a lot of little kids walking by themselves, crossing the street. They're very independent. They're sort of pushed to be that way. In America, we tend to be more helicoptery.
Yep.
So it's been interesting watching how the parents deal with it and watching the kids deal with it.
Will the American version be, turns out they weren't old enough?
No, so far they're all old enough.
Okay. All right.
But, there's different, they get distracted by things like grass, which doesn't usually happen.
I love that. I'd seen those videos pop up, and I wondered what they pertain to. But basically, the child is given a set of chores, and they go out, and it's sort of kind of a rite of passage where that's how they're teaching independence. And I didn't realize that was connected to that show. That's wild.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And it's a straight like docuseries, or is it a comedy?
Yeah, it's
flavor?
a straight docuseries.
Okay.
I narrate it.
Wow.
I think there's 6 episodes right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of kids, you mentioned your daughter. Do you have any other kids?
No, well, not that I know of.
Not that you know.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
I was curious if any of them, but I will ask if just she has shown any inclinations to head down a comedy path such as yours, and is she doing it?
She is pretty funny. She has she does act. Right now she's totally into film editing. She's been working on a few films. But yeah, she's in our family, I am at the bottom of the laugh meter.
The laugh meter.
Really?
Wow.
Both
Okay.
very funny.
It's funny because a lot of times, I'd say to people, and these improv groups that I'd been a part of, that essentially you're saying stuff as you're writing it, and you're hoping for the best. But as far as the two, given your druthers, do you actually enjoy the process of writing comedy? Can it hold a candle to even though they're essentially the same in some form? Do you enjoy writing comedy, sitting down and saying, I'm going to write a skit, write something?
No.
No.
The short answer. I despise it. I despise every part. I was forced to write a book, and it was like the worst experience of my life. I thought, why? It's what I'm basically lazy, and that's improv is the lazy person's sport.
Yeah. I never.
The audience gives us everything we're working on. We just goof around, and then we're done.
I never thought about it that way, you lazy bastard. That is, you are absolutely correct, because these comedians slave over their material. They rehearse it. They fine tune it. They try it out.
Suckers.
They sharpen it. They get people to give them input on it, and you don't do any of that. You win.
I may have said too much.
I love it. Have you had those moments, and I'm sure of all the years and all the bits you've done and scenarios that you've been put in, where you blank on the right thing to say?
No.
Okay.
The beauty of improv is you just open your mouth and say stuff.
Just do it.
And be totally committed to it. And then you find a way to justify whatever idiocy you just came up with.
Okay.
You roll with it.
It's like our program, Steve. I mean, we really just...
That's it.
We're just opening up the mics and we go.
Extemporaneous, and you just go with it. And again, if you don't act like it's a mistake, hopefully the audience won't perceive it. But also, as with our show, having good partners, having good scene partners, and you're very funny. I heard you talk about asking for trouble as it's whose line is it anyway without the dead weight. Who do you pair with the best, in the cast? Who do you feel? And it's not to besmirch anybody else, but who do you gravitate towards?
Well, I've been fortunate in that they're all great, and I've worked with all of them individually. Ryan and I have known each other for 50 years. We sort of came through the comedy ranks together, so he's always fun. And no matter how long I go without seeing him or working with him, it's just like putting on your comfortable shoes again.
Yeah.
So he's Brad. We've been touring for 20 years. He's great. Wayne Brady, not so much. He's got too much talent, and it just, to keep up with him is a lot more work.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about Brad. Now that you brought this up, I was thinking about him over the years. Whenever you guys would do, and I've forgotten the name of the game, where you had to speak in only song titles.
Yeah.
Brad would always gravitate to the Beatles. He would just spout off Beatles titles, which is easy because there's hundreds of them.
Right.
Is he a massive Beatle fanatic, I assume?
He is.
Okay.
He loves music anyway. And, part of being an improviser is you have to keep up with everything that's always going on, because you never know if that's going to be a suggestion someone throws at you. So he's up on all the music. I mean, he has his guilty pleasures from the 70s, but yeah.
Are you beholden then to keep up with a lot of current pop culture stuff just so you have it in the queue and ready to go? I mean, like even following along things that you really don't have much of a natural interest in?
Oh, sure.
Okay.
I just, even just something just to give like a sound bite to, so it doesn't look like I have no idea. Taylor Swift, who's that?
Yeah, right, yeah.
What does he do?
Yeah, that's the last thing you want. Yeah.
What about
exactly.
like a BTS? Do you know anything about BTS?
No. Sounds like it needs some vowels.
They're a K-pop band, a boy band.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
all cute.
Right. They're
all cute,
insufferably cute. Yeah.
Nice. Well, listen, it's exciting stuff that you guys are coming to town. It's a week from Saturday, October. That is a week from this Saturday, right? October 5th, yes. And tickets are available now at the Keswick or KeswickTheater.com. It is a 2-man improv show. Doing the games that we know and love from Whose Line and other things, I assume?
Yeah, there's certainly enough there for Whose Line fans. And then there's games we've had to adapt because there's just the two of us, and Brad's talented at most of them.
Excellent.
Talented at most of them.
All right. Asking for Trouble is the name of the show. Well, we hope you enjoy your time at the beautiful Keswick Theater and coming to Philadelphia. Colin, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me on. Always a pleasure.
Anytime. Colin Mochrie, guys. Great stuff. I love watching the best at doing that do it because it's just so lightning fast and they're so good at it.
It is, and it's that working without a net. But it's not just that. It's having an instantaneous recall for all sorts of insignifica and then being able to string it together the right way. And as I said, even if you fail, it's the ability to twist a fail into a win.
When I went to Second City with my son Parker, the show that we saw, it wasn't all improv. It was a lot of it were sketches.
Yes,
like SNL. So they know where they're going to do. They know what's going to happen. But they had elements of improv in some of those sketches. And at the very end, they did full on audience suggestion sketch stuff. And I'm telling you, man, I was laughing so hard it hurt.
Yeah. Well, the
which
Matt
was just
Foley
awesome.
skit, the famous Matt Foley skit was Chicago Second City.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where it came from. And it was the one that they would do all the time, and they modified it. A lot of the classic SNL bits and bits that will become classic SNL bits have been curated on the stage.
I remember seeing old, Belushi video of him at Second City doing these characters that would then roll over and
He
eventually
did Joe Cocker on stage.
SNL.
Yeah. It was all that, which will be represented in the new Reitman film.
Right.
About SNL.
Yeah, that's right. When is it? That comes out soon, right?
Is this Friday? I think this Friday.
October 11.
Which is...
It's
in a
this
couple weeks.
Friday, but after 2 weeks after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similar, but later.
I think exclusively in theaters. Maybe there's a Netflix release, Steve, too, or something like that. Anyway, Preston, I just wanted to mention real quick, you mentioned the Beatles, and I'm going to go see a Beatle tonight.
Oh, yes, that's right. Ringo.
Yeah, Ringo's in town.
I'm very happy for you.
I've never seen him, and you've raved. Colin Hayes in the band, and just a bunch of incredibly talented musicians.
Who else is on the bill?
Steve Lukather.
Edgar Winter.
Yeah.
Edgar Winter, wow.
Greg Bissonette is a great drummer. He played with David Lee Roth's band and a ton of other people throughout the years. Colin Hayes, Warren Ham, he was the guy that was saxophone player, and he sings harmony and plays keyboards and all this stuff. He was with Billy Joel and all these other acts throughout the years. Hamish Stewart. I know that name. I can't remember who that is. But it's a great sing-along, awesome event because it's not just Ringo. Each member of this band comes out and does their songs that you know from their years.
It's like a review.
It's great. And Ringo will take a little break and they'll come out and it's just, it's a blast. It's way more fun than I thought it was going to be. So I'm happy you're going to that. Hey, we do have a couple of minutes to play with and there were a couple of emails I wanted to read. I thought this one was really fun. This is from Joseph Miller, and he wrote, Hey, my name is Joe Miller, Preston. My wife and I are regular listeners of the show. We are currently in Tokyo, and we happened to stumble upon this in a vintage shop in Shibuya, Tokyo. And he sent it to me. It was a WMMR sweatshirt.
What?
Oh, wow.
Yes.
In Japan?
In a vintage shop. He said, thought you guys would appreciate it. We ended up going back later in the day to buy it. No way we could leave Japan without it.
Seriously.
I wonder how much it cost.
Well, and it was, I'll tell you which version of the logos it is. It was the kind of the pink pill.
Oh, yeah. You've grown up and so have we.
Yeah, the really kind of, probably the worst MMR logo in the history of the radio station. But that, how long ago was that? How long has it been sitting at a shop in Japan?
It's got to be 30 years.
Over 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've been here for almost 20 years here.
And
Marissa
it predated us.
Marissa has actually pulled off of the wall all of the bumper stickers throughout the years, and she's bringing it here into the studio. Hold it up to the camera. It was this one right here.
Oh, wow. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that one.
So that's how old that is. but that was sitting. Nobody liked that one.
And the slogan, "You're old and
When
we are
was
too."
that?
That was
You're
post-
old and we are too.
That was like
Chuck says 95, 96.
post Morning Zoo. There was like the sports rock era in there for a moment, and then Pierre and Eskin did mornings, and that didn't go well. Yeah, it was a rough time for the radio
Eskin
station.
had seen Pierre at so many sporting events that said we should do a show.
I don't know if you guys know this, but on Pierre's page, there's actually a list that has all of the logos and the years they were usable. Or they were being used.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's WMR.com/Pierre.
So WMMR.com/what?
Pierre.
So thank you, Joe and company, you and your wife, and they're picking that up in Japan.
It's weird how those things. Remember years ago, Preston, just when maybe a few years after we started here, there was somebody in some sort of thrift shop in Detroit or something, and there were jerseys that we had never even seen.
Yeah,
that
with my name on it and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know how it happens, but they ended up doing that. Hold on, Nick. Where'd you find this?
I'm sorry. Listeners texted in about Hamish Stewart, who's on the bill tonight. And he played with the Average White Band. He's also played with McCartney over the years, so I just got distracted for a second.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. All right, and then I'm gonna read this email. I love this idea. Now, when people are doing their own food drives for Camp Out for Hunger, years ago we decided we weren't going to mention all of them on air because we're just too many of them.
Right.
And it's kind of up to you to go out and run your own food drive or a campaign to bring and make a donation to our food drive. But I couldn't not mention this. So I got this from a guy named Brett Schwartz. And he says, hey, guys, no sad, bro. My funeral home, Goldstein's Rosenberg's Funeral Directors, as it has been come to known as, is holding its first ever food drive for Camp Out for Hunger. We, especially me, are super excited. As you can see in the attached flyer, we are calling it the Procession for Life.
Oh, I love that.
And I have been attending the Camp Out for Hunger for many years, and my funeral home and I have always made a financial donation. That said, I always wanted to do more and give more. And I came up with the idea for the Procession for Life several years ago, but never implemented it. Thanks to one of my excellent business partners, Randy Casey, and our marketing professional, Randy Sherwood, my vision has finally become a reality. We will collect as much food as possible, and then we will drive down to Broad Street to the camp out in a procession led by one of our hearses.
That's amazing.
He said, so think of it as a much more PC, dignified, professional, and purposeful haunted horror ride. Food can be brought. So I'm going to mention that they're taking donations.
Yes, that's great. We love the physical donations.
Can be brought to either of their locations between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. They're located at 6410 North Broad Street in Philadelphia.
Nice.
Or 310 2nd Street Pike in Southampton. And he said, we cannot tell you how excited we are to finally hold this food drive and start what we hope will become an annual event.
No, it's brilliant. And we are really this Camp Out for Hunger. We're trying to stress the actual physical dropping off of food. And we're going to obviously have Acme on the premises. But, because there's a little bit of a gap between the time that financial donations are made and that manifests into real food. So we would really love that gap to be closed by physical food donations being brought down the way it was for many years.
Well, and if you could do it in a unique way, too, that'd be a lot of fun. Because I love the idea with the hearse and the procession. I think it's fantastic.
It's icing on the cake.
It would be awesome if I could get a big, juicy shout out for the Randys for making this happen. So here's a shout out for you guys.
Wait 1 second. I got to go to perfect. And there we go. Get a big one.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
So that is from Brett Schwartz, who is the vice president of Goldstein's Rosenberg's Funeral Directors.
Love it.
I thought that was a blast, so thank you for reaching out. And then, let me see. I think I had a chart I wanted to mention. Oh, this I wanted to mention this. This is a butt plug. I got this. Stephen, I sent you the information yesterday. This is from Christina Cassidy. She said, I'm a longtime listener and a huge fan, and I was hoping you could share my brother Sam's story. He is only 26 years old and was diagnosed with ALS back in June. And she said it is fast progressing, and he is quickly losing his ability to care for himself. My family and I put a GoFundMe together to prepare for the accommodations that he will need in the future. I linked to his GoFundMe, and you can read more of his story there. Just sharing and getting it out there would really be everything. He is an amazing person and deserves the world. Thank you so much. So I sent that over to Nick.
Got it.
And I'm telling you, He just looks like the most smilingest, happiest sweetheart of a guy. I felt so bad for him when I saw this. I mean, obviously he's got great support, but he's a Twitch guy. He's a gamer and all this stuff, and you just want to help him out.
There are obviously so many horrific things in life, you know, whether it be a death from cancer or whatever. But I think there's just something particularly horrific
about ALS.
Yeah,
about how it slowly robs you. Of your abilities. Period.
Yeah,
and it's just. I'm so sorry you guys are going through this, but we'll do whatever we can to help out in any way. But he just, like I told you, just look at this guy, all the pictures of him, he's just smiling, happy, and having a great time. And so if you can help, that would be great. So you can go to the community page of PrestonandSteve.com and help out with Sam, please. And then I wanted to do this shout out. This is from Zach Carey. And he said, I'm home to get a big juicy shout out for my awesome wife, Sarah. We're home together now with our first newborn baby Penelope.
Beautiful name.
Who goes by Penny. And the labor and delivery process were hard. But she said, now that we are home with our happy, healthy baby, we catch up on your show on YouTube whenever possible. At this point, Penny should be more familiar with your voices than anyone else's, except for her mom's and dad's.
It's pretty terrifying.
I'd like to throw in a possibly belated happy birthday to Sarah, whose birthday is on the 28th. She deserves the world. Thank you in advance. Love, and that is from Zach Carey. So there you go. Good luck to you guys with the new baby. And it's not a belated birthday. Her birthday is until the 28th.
Yeah, a couple of days.
That's an early birthday. And I'll do one more, and then I'm done. This says for Jimmy and Missy's wedding anniversary from Danny, Jimmy's brother. But it doesn't give me their last names at all on here anywhere. So Jimmy and Missy, happy anniversary.
All right.
The Spoodermans.
He said the Spoodermans. Jimmy and Missy Spooderman, congratulations.
Spooderman.
Jimmy.
He said, my brother listens to you guys every morning at work. Now that I can listen to the radio in the morning, he gave me the idea to start listening to you guys again. So he's happy about that. So
Jimmy.
What were their names again?
The Spoodermans.
Spoodermans.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Spoodermans. So
Jimmy.
Congratulations, Jimmy Spooderman. All right, with that, let us take a quick break and come back in a moment or two around 9:45. Sting will be joining us, and we still have yet to give away our Metallica tickets for the morning. 3 times today, you'll have a chance to win them to both shows. It's called 10 Days Metallica. Be back in just a moment. Stay with us.
Preston and Steve.
He's going to be in it.
Is. So his son Jack was also in attendance for this event, but the appearance previews a comeback of sorts for the star, who is set to hit the big screen again in Top Gun Maverick. Last summer, Cruise said of Val Kilmer that he was doing really well. Well, it's unclear what prompted Kilmer's hiatus from Hollywood. It became apparent that he was struggling with health issues during the hiatus. In 2015, a spokesperson told People magazine he was rushed to the hospital for a possible tumor. In 2017, he admitted that he had throat cancer and had recovered after a 2-year fight. He told the Hollywood Reporter that the procedure on his trachea made his voice raspy and left him short of breath.
I really like Val Kilmer. He's been in some really great stuff. Top Secret and Real Genius. And I love him in MacGruber.
Yeah.
He's freaking hilarious.
And Steve, you're forgetting
Tombstone.
Tombstone, thank you.
One of the greatest performances.
Yeah, definitely.
I bought the man's shirt.
I think his best performance, and The Doors. He was phenomenal.
yeah.
So what would you say? So greatest Val Kilmer, Tombstone? That is such a great performance.
I got to go neck and neck with The Doors. They were both so good. But yeah, his lines in Tombstone are
so
just
great,
wonderful,
so great.
I love Real Genius, though. I love that movie.
Have you ever seen Real Tombstone?
I've never
It's
seen
really good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's about Doc Holliday in college.
Only he uses a laser instead of
I'm going to use a laser, honeysuckle. I'm going to make a whole big house into a Jiffy Pop.
What was that? Was that him?
That was his bite in
Top Gun, his
Yes.
best pilot?
Yeah.
Hit it again. That's his teeth coming together. Oh, my God.
That's right. Nice. Man, I am dangerous.
And there's the bite.
Man.
That line from Cruise, I hated. And then he pauses. Man, and brushes off his shoulders.
You're awfully big there.
Horrible movie.
I'm 5 feet 3 inches tall, man. I'm a little tiny man.
But as much as I hate Top Gun, I can't wait to see the sequel.
Likewise.
Because really want to see it.
Because guess what?
What I said, and I thought they were going to do, is they're going to go more realistic.
Yeah.
You think so?
That's the word.
Okay.
And now with the availability of what they can do.
It's Steve. Wouldn't it be great if in the locker room saying they all of a sudden break into a dance number?
Right.
We're going for ultra realism here.
I want to see Val Kilmer, though. You know, I want to see how he looks and how he's able to pull off Iceman, because what we just saw there up on the screen doesn't jibe with the Iceman I know.
I don't think he can't be all that cocky anymore.
You're not just writing checks. Your body can't cut.
What was that?
You're dangerous.
Man, I can't understand your words. Man.
John Hamm's in it, too. He was at the Blues game last night and on Saturday, and he's done a few spots on NBC for the Stanley Cup Finals, and so it'll be cool to see him in it as well.
I love him in Nadnan.
I'm sorry.
I love him in Nadnan.
He wasn't in Nadnan.
No, Mad Men.
Oh, Mad Men.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't put your lips together. No, man.
I had a little surgery.
Yeah. You got a little surgery?
You look weird.
Tonight, E.T. gets the exclusive with Val Kilmer.
I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off. This can go hard on you now.
You look weird.
Bring it, you little bitch.
All right, what else I have for you? 3 months after Nicolas Cage and Erica Quakey got hitched in a quickie Vegas wedding.
A quickie.
Quakey was quickie.
You remember
Nicolas Cagey
tried to immediately get it annulled.
4 days.
Yeah.
Vegas. After this, a judge in Clark County had granted them a divorce. Cage filed for an annulment 4 days after the wedding.
He was drunk. He freely admits.
That was his fourth wedding, by the way. Claiming that it was based on fraud because Quakey did not disclose her criminal and romantic history to him.
Uh-huh.
See, you didn't tell me about your criminal history.
You didn't tell me about your criminal history.
TMZ
if I had known, I wouldn't gone all Quakey on you.
TMZ reports that the annulment didn't happen, and it is
I'm his friend now.
Oh,
see, little guy's my friend now. He's got great fingers.
Quakey. Okay, so reports that the annulment. TMZ reports the annulment didn't happen, and it's unclear if Quakey will receive the spousal support that she has requested. So, honestly, I don't know what's going on there.
I love Nicolas Cage Nicolas Cage has become what he's wanted to become the most. It's basically an Elvis type character. He goes around, in these, like right here, he's got some sort of animal print leisure suit on. This is ridiculous.
What would you do to make your butt look good in a photo?
Ooh, I'd have it wear a cowboy hat.
For celebrities and social media influencers, it's about contorting the body for the best rear view.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so you know what to do, Kathy?
I'm not sure. I'm sure it's probably a little arch in the back.
Well, for me, it's bending over and pulling the cheeks as far apart as possible.
I think that's a different type of photo.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
I
not
misunderstood.
What they're talking about.
I think so you can see everything, where you can see where the skin starts to turn color.
Oh, my God.
Right? Is that what you're talking about?
Listen, I didn't even realize I was doing it, but I was, I mooned my daughter.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. Just
Here.
Yeah, but I brown-eyed.
Oh, no, your poor kid. You just traumatized her for life.
So is that how you take a proper ass picture?
I don't think any child should see their father's butthole.
Ever.
No.
Write that down.
Do what I did and just feel it.
It scarred her. She was like, she freaked out.
Oh, yeah.
I thought more like, I was thinking more in the veins of my son that I was doing that too. And I was like, I can't believe I just did that. I just did that.
I can't believe it either.
Wow. I know. Yeah.
The man in my little girl.
Yeah, right.
Poppy. Hey, Daddy, I just saw your brown eye.
Is that your butthole, Poppy?
It was quite traumatic, Poppy.
His name is Eddie. He wants to know if we can go steady.
I've never seen your butthole. I had to tell him I did, Daddy. He's not my boyfriend anymore, Daddy. Thanks for scarring me, Daddy.
Oh, the car pop?
Oh, my God.
Yes,
Well, anyway, back to the
I
story.
saw your balloon knot, Daddy.
Hey, look over there.
Didn't want to see it, Daddy.
You probably shouldn't have told us that.
No, I'm glad I
Here's
did.
other stories.
So the most popular booty popping position involves tilting the pelvis and arching the back.
Yeah.
So the
and
obvious.
then swiveling the head to the side. Bootylicious models such as Hailey Bieber and Isabel Goulart have recently.
My name is Isabel Goulart.
Have recently
You want to change our last name?
posed on the red carpet this way to highlight their pert posteriors in gowns with plunging backs.
So can you show Casey what he's? Do you know what he's describing? Is it? Are you?
Well, I'm going to give it more detailed. So here we go. Here's an influencer, Daisy Keach, who last month enlisted a plastic surgeon to certify that her backside was real to her 1.1 million Insta followers, said, "I'll stand up straight and spread my legs a little bit to make myself look a little bit wider than if my feet were closer together." She says, then I'll arch my back a little bit.
Right.
And I'll kind of puff out my chest. I breathe out and my stomach cinches in as I pose.
God, what a bunch of nonsense to go through.
One of our
she's 19,
calendar
by the way.
girls though does this perfect, and I can't remember which one it is. I'm trying to find her pictures, but like
Is it Shay? Our cover girl?
I mean, listen, they probably all take great booty shots, but there's one specific calendar girl, and I can't remember who it is.
The 19-year-old influencer from Los Angeles says...
Influencer.
She says a lot goes into properly accentuating her most famous asset, which she dubbed the Keach Peach.
The Keach. What's her full name?
Her name is Daisy Keach.
Oh, I thought you said Stacy Keach. I'm like, that guy?
Daisy Keach, and she calls it the Keach Peach. One of her other go-to tricks involves bending the leg that's closest to the camera while standing, quote, super tall on the other foot. If you arch your back a little bit and lean the shoulder closest to the camera forward, she said it will make your waist look smaller and your butt look bigger.
So none of them suggest putting your stomach forward on a table and pulling your ass cheeks far apart?
I haven't gotten to the whole thing yet, so maybe. But while an overarched spine may look good on the gram, it's not the greatest for your posture, says experts. With a neutral pelvis, the hip points and pubic bone align. By contrast, the sway back position and other similar moves create an interior pelvic tilt, which is placing a lot of strain on the pelvis, says chiropractor Marcella Thomas.
Well, of course, we know that the way you're posing is not the way you should walk around in life.
Some people do actually suffer.
Like, what are you going to be like this? Like, like Frankenstein?
Some people do actually suffer from an interior pelvic tilt, an issue that Thomas says that she would treat in her office using strengthening and stretching positions and spinal adjustment.
She's really taking this seriously,
Yeah, she
doctor.
is.
I
could treat that.
I have that pelvic tilt just when I stand regularly.
I don't know what you mean by that, but pelvic.
So like my, I guess I have like a natural bend in my back and my,
which accentuates your
like an arch, and my pelvis kind of tilts a bit just when I stand normal. No, kind of down.
Does that happen when you try to touch your elbows behind your back?
Yeah, and then I do that and then tilt my head and
like when you lick your own nipples.
Right, exactly. Yeah, all very similar.
Yeah.
It's natural that my tongue goes down to my nipple.
When I give my Kathy, same. When I give myself oral,
right,
my butt really sticks out.
Sitting to my left, ladies and gentlemen, Adrian Zemed.
Adrian Smed, I thought he was dead. Oh my God.
We're not kidding. We've been talking about you forever, right, Preston?
We have. We absolutely have. We are fans. Has anybody ever said to you, "I thought you were dead" before, though? That's a slight insult.
Well, actually, there was an episode of The Simpsons where I was in one of their musical numbers, and I popped out of a coffin saying, "And I'm not dead."
Here you are in this play, and again, Middletown, and it's two couples, and they're sort of there's some comedy, there's some sadness, but it's the way they've grown over the years. And what drew you to this?
Exactly that. I'm used to, I've been through the Eastern Seaboard so many times with musicals.
Yeah.
And I'm used to just being drenched in sweat by the end of the show and doing it. And then I read this play, and it was such a simple play. It's just about two couples who have dinner every Friday night for 33 years.
Right.
They're best friends, and they're normal people, and life happens to them.
Mm-hmm.
And it truly is a roller coaster of emotions. I mean, we suck you in by all our little charming quirks that the couples have and everything, and then life happens. There are tragedies in life that you have to deal with, relationship problems with your spouse and everything. But what is the great fascinating thing about this play is that the words speak for themselves. I'm actually first generation Romanian, so my family came, to America for their kids to, be doctors and lawyers, and I come up to my dad and say I'm going to be an actor. And it's the funny thing about him is I won him over. I literally out of acting school, I got one of the last national tours of the original Grease, and we were playing in my hometown of Chicago.
You were playing Zuko.
Yeah, I was playing Danny, and we were going into a very big theater into Chicago, and there was and nobody really knew very much about Grease at that time.
Right.
The movie had not come out yet. It was just a hit on Broadway, and there were a few national tours. So the company manager said, "Look, we're having a lot of trouble with this opening night. We're going to paper the house. Tell your dad that you can invite the entire congregation." So,
oh man, that's a
I didn't mention that my father is a priest, an Orthodox priest.
Right,
they can get married.
And Greece is
Eastern Orthodox priests can get married.
Yeah. Greece is very profane.
Oh God,
yeah,
yeah, the stage show.
Kidding?
Yeah.
I'm giving the finger on the show.
MMR.
Let us go to the phones and to find caller number 10. I believe we have Anthony here. Anthony,
Yo,
you're caller number 10, dude. Congratulations, man. We got tickets for you to see both of those Metallica shows, May 23rd and May 25th. How does that feel?
It feels better than not winning.
That's damn right. Well said, Sir Anthony. Where are you from, buddy?
CK.
All right, we'll represent C. Kane when you get to the show. Congratulations to you, all right, my man?
Thank you.
Yep, hang on the line. We'll get your information. That's just stop number 1 on the Metallica train today. We have 2 more chances for you to win tickets in 10 days of Metallica. Does this wrap up on Friday? Is that the last day?
I believe that's the case.
I
Yeah.
did not do the math. No one made me.
Sunday,
I was not made aware.
Sunday the 29th.
I was not made aware.
Sunday the 29th. Okay, so it wraps up on Sunday. That is when it's going to happen. How about them Phils, by the way? Yeah, the NL East champions, and it's first time in over 10 years that something like that has happened where they get it from the get-go.
Yeah.
They have nothing
I like
to
it
worry
this
about.
way.
How many more games? How many more non-important games?
Well, they're all important because you do want to win.
Yeah, you're right.
You want to have the
Home
best
field.
record in the National League because I don't want to go to Los Angeles and have to play the best of 7 if we make it to the NLCS in LA. So if they win out, they will have the best record in the National League, and that would guarantee all a home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Okay.
My nephew texted me this morning, and Luke, he's 13, and he said, this is the first time the Phillies have won the division since I've been alive.
Oh, wow.
I was like, yeah, all right, buddy. You get it. That's cool. Yeah, it was fun last night. And they celebrated pretty hard.
Yeah, they did.
For winning the division. And look, it's an impressive accomplishment. I'm super psyched. But I was a little surprised at how hard they went.
May I mention something that people might not consider when things like this happen? Perhaps they're not just celebrating the division that they've won. Perhaps they're celebrating the bonuses that they get when they win those divisional. I'm sure that these guys have things in their contract that make it even more exciting than for us, the fan.
Yes.
To be happy about.
That's a good point.
You know,
I hadn't considered that.
Yeah, so they went hard because I don't know, maybe it meant a couple extra mil. I don't know.
Well, as you said, it appeared like there was a full-blown light show and smoke machine going on. But it looked like almost a Halloween attraction.
Yeah, they have mounted professional stage lighting in the locker room, and there's smoke in there, right? I mean, that looks like they put on a smoke machine.
There has to be.
Okay.
And I think they had some cigars, and they were celebrating with the champagne and the beers, and they were going nuts.
Yeah.
And John Middleton came in, dropped a massive F-bomb on live TV last night, which is pretty cool to see your owner do and see him get sprayed with champagne. That was fun.
That was on live TV?
Oh, sure was, yeah.
On purpose, or he was?
Well, I think he was just trying to fire up the players. I mean, he's a really hands-on guy. He loves showing up to a lot of games and interacting with fans. And so he came down. He was actually on the field when they won, and then he was in the locker room. And he said at the beginning of the season that he wanted to get that trophy back. And then he said to the guys in the locker room, "Get me that effing trophy back." But he dropped the full F-bomb on TV.
That's okay.
Right.
It's emotional.
Yeah.
The FCC rolls back on those rules if you're very emotional.
That's right.
When will we know the first round schedule and all that stuff?
It might not be until Sunday because the wild card is still to be determined in the National League. There are 4 teams competing for 3 playoff spots. And so the Phils and the Dodgers will likely fight it out for the best record in the National League.
Well, now they can officially start printing up that Red October merch.
Yeah.
Like right now and start getting it out into the
I love
public.
that stuff.
I
I
do
love the
too.
way it looked last year. Yeah, it's amazing. And again, you became a baseball convert.
Yeah,
in
2
October
seasons
baseball.
ago, I started to reintroduce the excitement of baseball in my life. I had kind of just gotten away from professional sports altogether, except for when it was so blatantly obvious that, this is a big deal. And I've now caught on to, and part of it, listen, is our schedule. Some games, evening, I just can't. I'll be wiped out because I get up at 3:45 in the morning, and it's just too hard to get a whole game in. So that's part of what had me fizzle out of watching, even hockey, which is my favorite sport to watch. But this team, these guys, these personalities are what brought me back in. I'm loving watching them. Loving watching them have fun.
The energy, the excitement, the whippets.
They're a really likable team. Every player on the team you really root for, maybe except for Taijuan Walker. But the rest of the team you really love. But 2 years ago, Preston, it was pretty unexpected, and I think that was part of the joy. This year, it's expected. Everybody wanted this team to do well. Everybody thought this team was going to do well. They have. So the way that I was, as a fan, watching it last night was, this is step 1. You win the division. Next step is, get the best record in the National League, and then beyond that, win the division series, and then get to the NLCS. But it'll be interesting next week because in all likelihood, they won't play. They'll have 4 or 5 days off. So next week is going to be nothing going on baseball-wise in South Philadelphia. We'll have to wait until the wild card series is over before they start playing in the division series.
Good, that'll give them a little rest, practice and rest.
In
That can
theory,
be good and bad.
Yeah, the last few years, Kathy, the teams that have had the week off or the several days off have not advanced to the NLCS. So it's good and bad. I mean, listen, I think the players will always take the time off if it's an option and it's given to them. But it has not delivered success to the teams that have done the last 2 seasons.
We have a clip from in the locker room. Here we go.
Tastes so good, make you want to slap your mama.
Oh, that's the wrong one.
Okay.
Wow.
That's the wrong one. Okay.
Yeah, that's how excited they are.
This is John Middleton's F-bomb. Here we go.
John, come on over here. Remember in spring training, the man said he wants his trophy. We're going to get it. I want my friend.
And then they all turn around and look at the one guy. I'm sorry.
Did you guys see? Kathy sent me this story over the weekend. So John Middleton's son is also named John Middleton. His name's John Powers Middleton, and he's a listener of the show. He's a really, really nice guy. But Kathy sent me this story. He has a home in Hollywood because he's a producer. He had squatters living in his house.
Yeah, kind of relaying that.
Yeah, he wasn't in the studio. We were talking about it early off the air, Nick.
Okay.
It's a really bizarre story, this giant mansion. But Nick, I don't know if he ever lived there. I think he just
bought it as a property.
Yeah, I think he owned it. And
Billy Joel's selling his place.
Yeah.
You never know.
He could get that.
He could
He's a billionaire.
He could probably get that, yeah.
It's only $50 million for the house and the property.
Change.
Under $50 million.
Yeah.
So
49.9
Yeah.
is what it was.
You save
$49,000.
Steal.
Wow. All right, well, we got a couple more minutes before but it's exciting about the Phils. I'm
Absolutely
definitely stoked about this happening, and we will, move forward and see how exciting things get during postseason. Let me see. But we have a couple more minutes. So we have Sting at 9:45. We're going to talk to him. So we're probably going to chat for the next 15 minutes or so, and then we're going to break, come back, do the bizarre file, and then go to Sting and chat with him for a little while. And then after that, we have another shot at $1,000 with Good Money It. But I saw, what were you going to say?
No, we're basing everything around Sting as well. We should.
Yeah.
If you don't want to kill a topic there with a short chat, I want to ask you guys something.
Okay.
All right. So when you get home and you pull into the driveway or the garage or whatever, and you're home. Do you sit in your car for a long time, or do you just get out of your car and walk into your house?
I get out of my car and I walk into the house.
Okay. Yeah. My wife is a driveway sitter, and I just found out that my son is a driveway sitter as well.
My son is a driveway sitter.
He's a driveway sitter.
What, Like, are they on their phone? Are they doing something? Or are they just taking
No, they're just staring into.
No.
Stare. Yeah.
Parker will watch a YouTube video, because sometimes he'll be listening to. He likes some audio files on YouTube, so he will continue to listen.
He'll finish
to
it off in the
whatever he was listening to. So he will sit, and I'm telling you, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just sit out there in the car.
I'm out of the car before I even put it in park. That's
Hell
how quickly
yes.
I want to get in my house.
You jump out of the car while it's rolling.
Yeah.
No, I'm the same way. I'm done. I'm finished driving. I'm ready to, and I'm a little, I want to get out of my car.
Yeah.
I pull into the garage, close the door.
A half hour.
Yeah. Run the hose around from the tailpipe. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
All right, because when my son started doing it, I was like, okay, this is a thing. Like, he is my wife's flesh and blood, and she does the same thing that he does.
Genetically?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of it has to do with the media that's available for you, and if you're caught up in something.
Well, and I'm thinking they're checking they've parked, so now they're checking their phone. I almost appreciate that because they're not looking at it when they're driving.
The car's in park. Okay. My seats were exactly where I wanted. Ashtray's clean, if I have an ashtray.
I'm a parking spot sitter.
Are
so
you?
when I get to my house, or when I get to my apartment, I sit in my parking spot. Sometimes I'm like listening to Pierre and he's telling a story. So then I'll sit there and listen to the story. I'm also just like a radio nerd. So I'm loving that. Then I'll start getting lost in Instagram or something.
Just sitting in your car.
Yeah, just sitting in my car. Sometimes with like the door open and I'm just kind of sitting there. And I had to be conscious of it because there were warnings recently about, some people were getting carjacked when you're sitting in your car.
Oh.
And so, it's one of those things. It's like having your windows down at a stoplight just makes yourself more vulnerable, or having it like your passenger side window.
Do you lock your car?
Like reach in.
You don't. When I get into the car, especially in the morning, the first thing I do is I lock the car door.
Mine locks automatically.
Yeah.
When I put it into drive.
Yes, but when I'm getting in the car, I'm sitting down because you're very vulnerable at that point. If people were laying in wait, you hit the lock button quickly. Little security measure.
I'm not in a lay and wait area.
Yeah. I'm in a slightly lay and wait
But
area.
I just like all that stuff that you're doing in the front seat of your car. It can be done in the house in the comfort of.
Is it the solitude that they enjoy?
It might be.
It's the comfort of having a steering wheel.
Yeah, but you were already alone for however long you were just driving.
I know, but like maybe you just don't want to go in the house and deal with people inside or the dogs barking, whatever. Like maybe just like
family members.
Oh, it's you!
a moment of quiet that you get.
Oh, the superstar's home.
The car.
I mean, Nick, you can appreciate that. Diane needs to sit in the car because immediately if she's walking in, right, are you guys going to start talking to her? If your son comes in, like you're going to ask him how his day is. So maybe they're sitting there for like a moment of.
No, Seamus doesn't want to talk to us.
Why? No, that's why he's sitting in his car.
Yeah,
that's why
he's sitting there.
That's why he's sitting.
And Diane doesn't want to talk to you. That's why she's sitting there. No, I forgot what movie it was, but somebody would just sit in his car because he just did not want to go in.
American Beauty?
No, it wasn't American Beauty, but it was a dynamic like that. Yeah.
I also do it because it's like before I get distracted, something else. Because usually before I get in the car, I'll like see an email or something. And so I'll think about it while I'm driving. So then I want to complete that once I'm sitting there. And then I get distracted with more. So it's kind of like once you get into the house, you're in a different mode.
Yeah.
You're in a different space.
You can decompress for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get it.
Somebody texted in and said, I hate when my wife sits in the driveway, sits in her car in the driveway.
All right.
What are you doing out there?
I wonder if on per capita, if moms do it more frequently than anyone else.
Okay.
Because everybody's always nagging at a mom. And I'm just curious, like if a mom's sitting in the driveway, they're like, I went 3 minutes of silence where I can just be me.
I don't know if this is a mom or not, but this says I have toddlers, so I always have to take a deep sigh and enjoy the silence before heading in.
Yeah.
Somebody says I am literally sitting in my driveway listening to this story about sitting in your driveway. Another one says I'm a driveway sitter. Most times it's my way of decompression, sort of like an airlock between rushing and relaxing. And like Marissa said, you just sort of lose track of time and need to be conscious of it. That's from Ron in Berlin, New Jersey.
Do things ever get so kinetic in the house that you will just go out and sit in the driveway, not even in the car?
In the car, just sit on the driveway.
I'm not coming in.
Yeah, here's another one that says, I'm a mom. I sit in the car before I go into the house.
Do you know what I do when if it's like in the winter and the car is all toasty and you arrive at home and, you have that element going on, I can see sitting there and just enjoying the comfortability before you have to jump out into the elements and walk those 7 feet to the front door.
I remember Casey and I had this same issue when our kids were younger, and we would drive home, and of course, mom had put in enough time with the kids at home, and walk in the door, and it's like, okay, it's your turn, you take over.
Here.
And it'd be like, hang on, give me just a minute, and then we would get you had time on the drive home to unwind. No. Casey and I were both like, that does not count,
Doesn't
man.
count.
You need
You're
to
not-
understand.
That does not count.
But in hindsight, she was right.
You wanted
I'm
the
not.
kids.
I
You're the one that wanted kids.
No,
You wanted kids.
No, I don't think that was enough time to. I don't call driving home relaxing time. Driving to me is not relaxing.
No, I agree. It's not. That's not part of relaxing time.
No, I need a moment to.
It's pulling off.
Sit in the driveway. That's what I should have done.
Pulling off at a motor lodge and getting a room for 2 hours. That's
how you decompress. Yeah.
I had an interesting glimpse into the psyche of one Kathy Romano on Saturday when we were driving back into Philadelphia, and some of her disdain for the city has to do with the driving aspect of it, because you get frustrated, and I understand it, but like the drive-in, the traffic, weaving in and out, like all that kind of stuff really nags at you, so much so that it prevents you of doing visiting some of the things that you might normally otherwise go to.
Yeah, he said, if this was like placed elsewhere, would you go? Like, would you go in for restaurants and whatever? Absolutely, but like because of where it is and the process it takes to get there and the annoyance, I would rather just stay in Concho.
Nick, could you reenact a little bit of what you heard her saying?
No, I can't. No, I can't do this. I'm not going to weave in and out of traffic. I have to get there now.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Would you ever consider the notion of simply, if you even had no reason to be there, just go around and drive through the city?
What? No. Dear, that sounds like a nightmare.
Just put on the radio and drive around the city during rush hour. I'll let you go over by City Hall.
Hang on. Let me go to Derek. He's a driveway sitter. Hi, Derek. Good morning.
Hey, what's up, guys? Gadzooks.
Gadzooks to you. All right. So you sit in the driveway, right?
Yeah, man. I am the king.
Okay.
Camping in the driveway, man.
How much time will you spend?
Probably on a daily basis. I'm not gonna lie, that guys. Like sometimes I'll sit for an hour, or sometimes I realize it's been like 90 minutes. Like it's just like boom, it'll just fly.
You'll sit for an hour and a half in the parking lot?
The length of a movie.
Yeah, dude.
And what are you doing?
Actually, to be frank with you, sometimes I actually watch a movie.
Oh, okay. Well, you can. Yeah, why not?
But it's my way of disassociating from the day. Just 'cause I have like a really stressful job, and it's finally. I said, cars, the engine's off, everything's quiet. It's like, oh, I can actually sit. And
Well, why can't you do that in the house?
Yeah.
What's the difference?
There's no car in there.
I'll tell you what. It's because, you know what? There's no distractions. Like, it's just like, okay, I just have time to myself now. Like, as soon as I walk through the front door, I got to be worried about the dishes, the laundry. I got bills to pay. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's facing me down. And at least in my car, I don't have to worry about it.
And Derek, psychologically, if you're still in the car, you're sort of still in transit. You're still, you haven't really committed to the outside world or the other parts of your life.
Why not find a park bench or something like that?
And park on it.
That's not a bad idea.
Why not?
I don't know. That's actually a good point.
Why not go completely off the grid, abandon your family?
I guess it's just very convenient just to pull in the driveway and shut it off and boom.
You know what?
There you're there.
Whenever you see the movies like
Thanks,
Ironweed
Derek.
and the hobos riding in the trains, they don't ever have this kind of stress. They're relaxed. They're having their stew. They're jumping onto freight trains.
But there's something about like that, you have this, I don't know, like this protective box around you if you're in your car. Like you're not going to get that on a park bench. There's this like vulnerability that as soon as you walk outside of the car that you have to deal with the rest of the world. So it's not for me, but I can see why people would want to do it.
Do you remember the series of commercials that were based on the sound dampening of, I think it was a Volvo, I don't know, but there were people, they'd show them sitting in the solitude of their car, even sitting at home. In fact, there was a whole campaign about the mother getting home and sitting in the car and just listening to music.
Okay, I'm going to go to Maria. Hi, Maria. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, what's up, Maria?
Oh, I'm just sitting in my car listening to you.
You're in your driveway?
I am. I just dropped my toddler off at preschool down the road, and I am in my heated seat. My husband's probably in the basement listening right now, wondering why I'm not in the house, but it's okay.
Do you normally do this?
I do. So I work night shift currently, and I will actually sit in the car and fall asleep listening to you guys in the morning. And my husband, if he's home, will have to come out and wake me up.
Are you serious?
To get me back in the car or in the house, I mean. So.
Yeah, no. Listen, to the point of Nick's point of the cocoon aspect, where you're sitting there, you're in a sort of the seat is a little bit more contoured, and if it's a heated seat, that's great. Pierre is forever falling asleep in his car.
Yeah, I didn't always have heated seats. This is a new bougie thing for me. So I think, the solitude in your car.
Yeah.
I do have kids as well. So if I walk in the door, I'm immediately I'm the default parent, and I think a lot of moms are. And that is probably why we're like in solitary confinement in our car. We are protected. We are shielded.
Right. That's right.
All
and
right.
if you slump down low enough, it looks like there's no one in the car.
Yes.
If you're just standing out there, all of a sudden you see the seat going back.
Right. And they
disappear.
Oh, she must be in the house, and I missed her come in.
All right.
Right?
Thank you, Maria.
Mom.
Appreciate it.
I do still nap.
I love listening to you guys.
Thank you so much.
I
Take
do
care.
still nap in car line though, like waiting.
Yeah.
Okay. I will nap in a car if I'm headed down to the shore and I start getting drowsy because I get pretty tired after our program is over, and I'll pull off at like Frank S. Farley in 20 minutes to shut my eyes, and it makes a world of difference.
You don't even have to do that. Just put it on cruise control.
Oh my God. Just lay back and relax.
Just lay back and relax. It'll drive you there.
Are any of those options on newer cars not falling asleep at the wheel thing, but like, because you see the commercials where essentially they're self-driving cars.
Hey, listen, man, I mean, my Subaru is not a self-driving car, but when you put it in cruise control and it's got the adaptive thing going on,
right?
I mean, when you're bearing down on a car that's not going the speed, what your cruise, it'll then just fall in line with whatever the car in front of you is doing.
Mine is self-driving for about 45 seconds.
Wow, really?
And then you have to put your hands back on the wheel. So
Okay.
full on, you can let go, it'll steer the whole thing. And it's crazy. And I only use it if, say, I need to get something out of the back seat real quick or something like that. And otherwise, I just use the regular cruise control.
I was driving a car we were endorsing for a while, and it was, I think I got level 3, I think it was classified as autonomous driving.
Okay.
Really?
And I was out on 76, and to me, the application seemed to be in bumper to bumper. So like you're just there. You could literally. It'll do
the little scoot up a little bit and stop.
Yeah,
and
that's pretty
you're
awesome. Not even having to touch it.
Oh, I love that.
So, Steve, like, how did it affect your mannerisms? Like,
it made me anxious. It did. It made me anxious.
But on the upside, you can do the double flip off. Because both hands don't have to be on the wheel.
Yeah, so
there's another application. You can hold your testicles.
It's true. All kinds of options. This is crazy. All right. Well, listen, we do need. That was an interesting conversation, Casey. Thank you for bringing that up because I have a couple of driveway sitters in my family. We got to take a break. Sting is on our program in the next 15 minutes, so we want to come back in a second. If we have time to get into the bizarre file before we talk to Sting, we will do that, and then after we talk to Sting, we got your shot at winning $1,000 with Good Money It. Stay there. We'll be back in a moment.
Preston and Steve.
The original Grease was not meant for kids. It was meant for adults looking back on their lives in high school.
So he brings down the congregation.
So there were 500 Romanian people screaming and yelling, and they had their gypsy violins, and they were going singing the act. Every time I came out, there was a big cheer. It was then that my father was won over, and he kind of, although he didn't understand. When I ended up getting television and film, when I was doing T.J. Hooker, he didn't really understand what that was all about. So he says, You work for 1 hour. What you do rest of week?
That's great.
You are a bum. I got into this business because I wanted to be an actor.
Right.
That's it. I never even wanted to do television and film. I just wanted to work in theater.
Right.
That's all I ever wanted to do. And then one thing happens, and then you're just whisked away, and suddenly you're in Hollywood, and you're doing all this stuff.
You're good friends with William Shatner, right?
Yeah, I'm actually. We're currently working on a few projects with his his production company. Actually, we're letting it out right now. We're actually thinking of bringing Hooker back.
Oh,
in a comical way.
That'd be awesome.
Perfect. Bill is 88. Yeah. But the funny thing about it is that when we did Hooker, Bill pretty much did push the envelope on asking for ridiculous things for Hooker to do.
Okay.
I mean, we had like technical advisors from LAPD there, and he said, "Look, no, I got this idea. How about I just run over to the helicopter, and as it's going up, I just grab onto the rung of the helicopter, and when we're up in the air, I take my gun out and I go, bring it down." And the TA standing there going, nobody would ever do that.
The top text here says, "Poor man Travolta, my ass."
Yeah.
He made Bachelor Party, which is an absolute. It's one of my favorite films, and you have one of the best lines in the movie. I think personally.
Look at the cans on that pinball.
Well, you're telling him, man, I really would love to have a relationship.
I would love to have this relationship that you have, and someday I'll have kids and be happy. And hey, look at the cans on that pinball. You know, that movie. Tom and I lived very close to each other. So we lived in Studio City, and the soundstage that we were shooting this at was in Culver City. So it was a pretty good distance to go on the 405 freeway.
And you've been on Bosom Buddies, right?
Yes, yes. I played Johnny Midnight, his boyhood friend from camp.
So you knew him?
Yeah. And we'd carpool to work because we could go in the carpool lane and everything. And as every day after we get in the car and we go, our careers are over. Our careers are really over. What are we doing?
Yeah.
This is going to be terrible.
Yeah. No.
All we did was show up for 13 hours a day and goof off.
Yeah.
Almost nothing of what the script originally was in there. We just ad-libbed. We just goofed off. And honestly, some of the funniest scenes in the movie never made it into the movie because we had gotten an X rating.
There's a horse scene. There's a horse
a donkey show.
Let me tell you about this. The donkey actually died.
What?
They brought him back to life.
No.
They literally shot him with some shot of something for him to go, and then he keeled over. And his heart stopped.
Oh, my God.
And we've got all these people, there's like 100 extras. Many of, the girls are half naked and everything. We're all standing there going, oh, my God, they killed the donkey.
Dear Lord.
You resurrected a donkey, Adrian Cement?
And they did the whole adrenaline thing, you know what I mean? They put the
oh my God.
in his heart and he came back.
The donkey snorts 3 lines of coke.
Yeah.
You definitely could.
It's a real good kids movie. I'm really proud.
You're thinking your career's over, but no.
And then, honestly, when we saw the first cut, it was like, Tom and I looked at each other. This is funny. What the hell happened?
Is there any chance you could go back and re-release a director's cut by any chance, or is it too late?
Back then, they didn't save that kind of footage.
Oh. Yeah, now they do all the time.
And they do it all the time because of everything they do. But honestly, there was one scene that was absolutely hysterical. So we're the bachelor, the party's not going very well. The hookers haven't showed up. We're sitting in the hotel room looking at a Shirley Temple movie.
Right.
And it's just not going well.
The hookers go to the wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
So then I say, Rick, let's go downstairs and get something to eat. I'm hungry. So we get into the. I'm not gonna do this to say this on radio. This was cut. I said, sit in this booth. This is the best booth in the place. So he sits in there, and all of a sudden you hear a zipper sound. His eyes light up. Right. There's a girl underneath who is
taking care of him,
going to give him a happy ending of some sort. Mm-hmm. So I, saying my gift to you.
Yeah.
And we see the minister who's going to marry him walk into the restaurant and go, "Oh, Father, over here, come on, over here." Yeah. So he comes to the edge and he starts having a conversation with us, and Tom's going, "Oh, Jesus. Oh, Mother of God. Oh, Mother Mary and Joseph." Oh, he's writhing and everything. And I say, he always says grace before he eats. So.
That's great. great.
He can't take it anymore. He gets up and runs out. And I said, Father, sit here. It's the best seat in the house. Close up on his face, you hear the zipper sound, and his eyes go like
That's great.
Didn't make it in the movie. We had offended everybody else. They didn't want to offend the Catholics.
It's so freaking funny.
You and Tom were friends. Could you tell then what a talent he was and what he was going to go on to
and
be?
honestly, one of the nicest guys in the business. Everything that's ever happened to him, he deserves every bit of it. He's a great guy.
That's great.
Very talented.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you.
You know, a lot of people don't know this, but Tom was not originally cast in that role, and neither was Tawny Katane.
Tawny Katane was the it girl of the time, and she was the White Snake videos. It predates, I think, the White Snake video.
Who was?
Well, we shot 1 month with the other cast.
Who was it?
Oh, no way.
It was Paul Reiser.
Really?
And Kelly McGinnis.
Oh, my goodness.
Did they get fired?
Well, the producers just felt there wasn't a chemistry going on and everything. And Tom, they had just seen a screening of Splash.
Okay.
Oh.
And they said, we really need to get that guy
that's like
for this.
I couldn't even imagine. And Paul Reiser's talented, man. but
he's great.
And
He just doesn't have the
He was very funny.
Was he?
He was very funny.
Yeah.
There just wasn't a chemistry that was going on.
That's happened before. Back to the Future. Eric Stoltz was. They filmed for quite a while with him in the lead role. And
the scene where he falls and hits his head. That's Eric Stoltz's head. When he falls out of the tree, bonks his head on the.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's Eric Stoltz.
Wow. Okay.
Did not know that.
It's if you've never seen Bachelor Party, and it's worth going back for a visit. A number of people also texting in asking if we're going to bowl tonight, Adrian.
You know, it's funny. I've had the great fortune and lucky to have 2 cult classic movies that are really. They're targeting completely different people.
Yeah.
And it's just really kind of cool after all these years. You know, in theater, which is really my first love, and that's why I still do theater. If I'm going to be doing television and film, I'd rather be behind the camera these days. But if I'm going to act, I'd rather be on a stage because that is the actor's medium. It's electric. It's like a drug. Yeah. Grease too. It was an opportunity to put it was my Danny Zuko that I put on film.
Right, because you weren't. They had to created another character, which is basically Danny Zuko.
Yeah,
and it was a weird thing because you had Grease comes out. You have Travolta's on a meteoric rise. You have Olivia Newton-John. You have all these big stars in it, and then they go with Grease 2 and they cast. Not unknowns, but
they actually did something really kind of. They took a big chance.
Yes.
In what they did. They did not. It was very unique what they did. They also created they created a musical that was never a proven hit on Broadway.
Right.
So none of these songs had ever been heard. It didn't have a track record or anything. And a lot of people, you know, Grease 1 obviously was a massive, huge success. But Grease 2 didn't actually do badly. It in its theatrical release, it made about $80 to $100 million.
I watched
at that time, and people think that it wasn't as big a hit, but today it outrents and outsells Grease 1.
Really?
It's more kid friendly, and it's actually more of the essence of what Grease, the original Broadway show, was about. It was about all the T-Birds. It was about all the pink ladies, whereas the movie of Grease became a vehicle for John and Olivia. In the play, Kanicki sings "Grease Lightning," not Danny.
That's true.
It's his car.
Yeah.
Everybody has had a song in the Broadway show to tell you their story, and that's what. So it's more of an ensemble piece. And Grease 2 was directed by Pat Birch, who was the choreographer of the Broadway show. So she wanted me to do that role badly because they wanted to put a rock star in that role because there weren't any known faces. Michelle had just done, I think, Hollywood Nights.
This is Michelle Pfeiffer
with Tony Danza.
Right.
At that point, it wasn't a big hit or anything like that.
I remember.
And Maxwell Caulfield was not. He was an English actor, but hadn't done much. And they really wanted a rock star in that role, but Pat wanted me to do it. So she strategically brought me in. After they would see one of Casey and the Sunshine Boys or one of the Gibb brothers or whatever, and then I went in and said, "All right, it's still his. All right, it's still." Until after 12 callbacks, they finally said, "Wow, right, it's his role."
Well, honestly, I watch it every time it's on. It has a good energy to it. You're again sort of a self-deprecating, funny guy. The whole bowling sequence is pretty. You know, it's you can't help but get swept up in it, and it has its own energy. And to this point, you had a lot of talented people involved with it.
Yeah. A lot of people came out of that thing. Even the Seagal twins went on. The girls who were the cheerleaders went on to have their own series.
You have a lot of fans in Philadelphia, and to prove that, I'm gonna show something to you. I don't know if anybody has made you aware of this or not, but I think Steve made an offhand comment one day about somebody getting an Adrian Zemed tattoo. So we do this feature every Tuesday called Tattoozy. People come in and actually get a tattoo from our show. It's called the Preston and Steve. They'll get a tattoo with us in it, and we've been doing it for years and years and years. We had a guy who called in and volunteered to get an Adrian Zemed tattoo.
God, I'm looking at it right now.
This is a guy. That's your face on his right pec. It's huge. This was within the last year.
Within the last year, yeah.
Yeah, that we
and
had
the guy
this done.
eagerly came in.
Please tell me that's not permanent.
That's permanent. That's a real tattoo on this man's
So when
chest.
he's 90 years old and I look 90 on his chest.
Yes.
What was I thinking?
So we took a picture of you from Grease 2, and that is now permanently on this guy's bro. And you could enter for your chance to win a pair of Eagles tickets courtesy of Bud Light. Let's begin with this. 2 women were arrested after an altercation at a Little League football game in Port St. Joe, Florida on Saturday.
Port St. Joe?
Yeah, which police described as embarrassing and inexcusable behavior. The women were yelling slurs and obscenities. Both women were arrested, with one facing charges for resisting arrest after refusing to leave the event when asked. This is a Little League football game.
Now we're just having fun.
The incident, which took place in front of fans and children,
hey kids,
prompted a statement from the Port St. Joe Police Department emphasizing the importance of youth sports and teaching values like teamwork, sportsmanship, and fair play. And reinforce the mission of youth sports as a positive and enriching experience for children.
We want to teach them all that crap.
Keep your drunk ass home is what they're saying. So many words. An Arizona woman, Mochrie Sherry Coleman, has been sentenced to 4 months in prison for attacking a TSA agent who took her apple juice.
No!
At Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport.
My apple juice!
Coleman assaulted the agent by grabbing their hair, slamming their head against a table.
I'm going to kill you.
And punching them multiple times. The incident caused...
You know how hard it is to make apple juice?
2 agents to be hospitalized and disrupted travel for around 450 passengers.
By the way, in a related story, Chuck D'Amico revealed he's never had applesauce.
That's right.
Back to you, Preston.
Yeah. In addition to her prison sentence, Coleman will face 36 months of supervised release and is banned from flying during that time as well.
Seems to be wound a little tight.
The Kremlin's top doctor this week encouraged all Russians to engage in sex at work in a move to back President Vladimir Putin's attempts to counter a growing population crisis.
Well, I'm not Russian, but I will do my best.
Despite cash incentives, tax breaks, nationwide push to discourage abortions, and Putin's years-long attempt to encourage procreation across the country, Russia saw its lowest birth rate in the last quarter century for the first 6 months of 2024.
I didn't know it involved procreation.
It does involve procreation.
So
it's not just
my
sex.
plan is okay.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I'll have to modify that.
So apparently, he replied. This is the Kremlin chief. Reportedly, this is the Russia health minister.
So they're literally looking to get people to have fornicated work.
Dr. Yevgeny Shepstopalov said being very busy at work is not a valid reason, but a lame excuse. There are people who work 12 to 14 hours who, when do they make babies?
Yeah.
He was asked, he said, you can engage in procreation during breaks at work. Life flies by too quickly.
That's what the copy machine is for.
Yeah, exactly. So they're actually encouraging that you bang at work.
I've never heard of anything like that.
And you try to get some babies going. And now this is horribly disturbing, okay?
But it is bizarre.
A Las Vegas woman accused of decapitating the father of her children and throwing his head in the trash has pleaded guilty. Devin Michaels pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in the death of Jonathan James Whittle. The case came to light when the victim's mother discovered a headless corpse smoking from a mixture of bleach and ammonia.
Oh, my God.
Well, his mother called police saying she found him wrapped up in blankets and bloody. The arrest report said Jonathan's head had been severed from his body and was not observed to be in the room. Police smelled chemicals and saw smoke coming from the body they believe had been doused with bleach and ammonia.
Horrifying.
Willett's head was never found. Prosecutors believe the defendant took it to her home in Las Vegas and dumped it in the trash, where it was picked up during trash service and carted to a dump.
It's hard enough to get them to take pizza boxes.
I know. Imagine a human head. Police said the victim was the suspect's on-again, off-again boyfriend. The victim's mom reportedly told police Michaels was Willett's ex, and they were trying to get back together.
That's over.
Michaels was also married to Willett's son. She told police she had married Willett's son so they could help each other out. The son told investigators he and Michaels got married so he could help Devin with her medical issues. Michaels and Willett also shared 2 daughters. Dude, that is just insane all the way
I'm
around.
going to call it. She's a handful.
What a little scamp. I mean, come on.
Little minx. Yeah. A delightful sense of you.
All right, we'll do one more story, and then we'll find out if we're going to have Sting on or not. I see people scrambling in our back room.
Looks like an ER room in there.
All right, so never underestimate a pet that's willing to do whatever it takes to get home. Benny and Suzanne Aguiano have a long, rich history of taking their cats on their camping trips. And during a recent adventure at Yellowstone National Park, why do you take your cats on camping trips?
Believe it or not, there are actually animals there already.
One of their cats, Rainbow, which is 2 names, Rain and Bow, went missing.
The other's name is Dumb Ass.
After getting startled, the cat ran off, and no amount of calling or treat baiting brought her back, and they thought that she was gone for good. Fortunately, the Aguianos had the foresight to microchip their animal, and 60 days later, they received a call from the SPCA in Roseville, California.
We found your microchip in a pile of bear poop.
So keep in mind, this is in Yellowstone. They found the cat in Roseville, California, just over 3 hours from where they live in Salinas. Rainbow had apparently traveled around 800 miles to get back home, where someone finally found her and turned her in.
Think about that.
Realizing she was likely someone's missing pet.
A resourceful human would have trouble traveling 800 miles.
Yes. I don't know how they do it.
A cat does it.
But there you go. That's what I have in the bizarre file for you this morning. All right. I see Marissa smiling. I think that means that she's got Sting on Zoom, and we're going to chat with him in just a second or two. So we'll give her a moment to get that up and running. Keep in mind, today is Tattoos Day, and that means we have a chance to win a Preston and Steve Show themed tattoo, a $350 gift certificate from Floating World Tattoo and Piercing. And you can find them at 1729 South Street. And if you want to check out some artwork samples, you can visit floatingworldtattoos.com or check them out on Instagram at Floating World Tattoos, by the way. So looks like we are about set to go. And before we bring him on, I'll play a little slice of some new music. And you'll definitely be hearing this at the shows that are coming up. And I have that available now. Let's listen to a little bit new music from Sting. This is called I Wrote Your Name Upon My Heart. Rock and roll, man.
A little Bo Diddley.
Yep, Sting is going to be playing Monday, September 30th and Tuesday, October 1st. Please welcome Sting to our morning, Sting.
Good morning to you.
We are so excited you're coming back to Philadelphia. This is another return. We had you on not that long ago, but we love you here, so thanks for coming back to town. We appreciate it.
It's always fun to come to Philadelphia. It really is.
Hey, you guys are doing a really cool thing with this, and there's a donation that's going to go to the Laura W. Waring Elementary School's music program. There's a $25,000 donation that's going to happen. And when you were a kid and you were going to school, did they have music programs for you?
Yeah, they did. Obviously, they did. But music is something that always seems to be cut in education.
Yeah.
The first thing cut is the music programs, and yet it's one of the most important parts of school. Learning music, learning a skill, socializing, math, it's all very, very important. I was a school teacher. One of the most important jobs in society, one of the most poorly paid. So whenever I can get a chance to help teachers, help pupils, I will try and do it.
Obviously, I didn't make music a career for myself. Tangentially, it is because of working in radio, but I was that band room kid all through school. If there were not music programs, I would have been completely lost. My grades were horrible anyway, with as well as I did in the band classes, but it is so important, and I found that with my own kids as well, and it's more than just learning notes on a page and learning how to use proper technique. There's so much more to it. And the social aspect of it, I thought was so important.
I entirely agree.
And they're doing programs now, like at my kids' high school, Sting, which I think is a lot of fun. We have a rock band program at Souderton High School where my kids go. And instead of having to learn how to read and write music, they just get together and jam. And I found that is so awesome, because if you didn't have the time or maybe the discipline to go through learning all the particulars about reading music, but you still have that drive and that passion to learn how to play, I think it's so special that they're starting to see that is an important aspect of it too.
It's such an important thing to have it that way around, for it to be fun first. People learn when they're engaged through fun, not some dry academic, study. Music's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stanley Kubrick years ago said that if you could excite that excitement in something in kids in school and be able to find that, it'd be like setting off a nuclear bomb, because then you're off and running. You find the thing that excites you the most. You yourself, Sting, you said, writing music is doesn't come naturally to you, that it's a bit of an arduous process, correct?
It's a very arduous process. I can't say it. But when it happens, boy, it's a great feeling. Something comes to you and you think, God, it's worth living today.
So you're back together with a trio this time. We've seen that before in your career. And you have a couple of guys that are joining that I don't know much about. Can you tell us about Chris and Dominic, your band?
Well, Dominic actually has been at my right side for 35 years, so he's very much part of my life. The new drummer is from Luxembourg. He's a man called Christoph Mass, very, very dynamic, very young, good-looking. The guys like him. I mean, the most important thing about this is it's surprising, and I always want to surprise the listener, or whoever comes to the concert, to give them something they don't expect. And no one expected me to go back to a three-piece right at this moment. So we're having a lot of fun. We have to work harder. There's no safety net, but the songs are sturdy enough to withstand all of that reduction. And there's such a clarity between the instrument. You can hear everything. There's a freedom there. There's an ability to just turn on a dime, play songs that we haven't played in years, a couple of new ones, as you say. So the whole thing is about surprise.
You've always been about that. You always reinvent yourself and you always reinterpret your own material. And I have to wonder, in the early days of the Police, being a lifelong fan of your work, Sting, how many times did you, because you had such a unique sound, how many times did you get booked into venues or by people who didn't quite understand what you were bringing?
At first, a lot. Like Spinal Tap, really. I mean, I thought we were a police band, from the local constabulary.
That you're an actual band comprised of law enforcement people.
Well, actually, Stuart's dad was one of the founders of the CIA, so kind of.
Okay. Well, now listen, I heard a story not that long ago from Patrick Stewart, who you worked with on Tune, and you were telling him about your band, and he literally thought that you guys were a police, some kind of oom-pa-pa band or something like that, or he totally misunderstood. Were you aware of that?
Captain Picard should get out more.
I think you're right.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Do you enjoy hearing, let me ask you, statistically, what percentage of the times you hear people interpreting your songs? I watched you watch Annie Lennox perform one of your songs, and you were just loved it. How often is that the case, as opposed to, because I know you are a perfectionist, how many times you're politely like, wasn't quite what I would have hoped?
It's always interesting to hear other people's interpretations of your work, and I always learn something from it, because there are things that I haven't discovered. When I sing a song at night, I want to rediscover something. I want to find some incremental change that I haven't felt before or heard before. And so when I hear another singer tackle those songs, particularly somebody like Annie Lennox, who I adore, she brings something new to it, which I can then steal and then incorporate into my own interpretation.
That's a good way to think about it.
I love that. We played the new song, and Steve had mentioned at the top, it's got this kind of Bo Diddley heartbeat to it, that 3-2. Is that what spoke to you first when we were writing that song, a beat, or did it come in a different way?
I was just sitting with a guitar like this and started to play. And that was it.
That's it. Does the music reveal itself to you? I mean, and I've read a ton of interviews with you, and it seems to be linear, that you feel that the music informs the lyrics. Is that the case?
It's not entirely the case, but usually the best lyrics are written by the music. They suggest lyrics. They suggest a mood. A line will come to me by playing the music. So that's the best way to do it. Of course, I can do it the other way too. Write lyrics first and then try and write music after that. But the most natural way is for the music to write the lyrics.
Mm-hmm. On this tour, you're. It looks like you're going to be playing bass. Do you have fall in and out of love with each of the instruments that you play from time to time, and then gravitate towards another one? And it's time to go back to the bass for a little while.
I love playing the bass. It's a very, very wonderful way of being the band leader, because the lowest note is me, and I'm also singing the highest note. So the band is working within literally my bandwidth. It's a very subtle way of controlling a band, and it's only a C chord if I play C. At the same time, I love to play the guitar. I write on the guitar. I don't write on the bass. So I practice every day, as you can see. I get up early in the morning and I practice.
No kidding. You practice every day. That's
every day.
Wow. We had Brian May in here a couple of years ago, and Nick had asked him on our show, he's like, do you ever just pick up and play around? He's like, no, I really don't do that anymore. And we were kind of surprised to hear that. Is it for you just are you working on technical things, or are you just seeing what melodies come? Oh, yes.
Sheet music.
Sheet music.
I do exercises. I do scales.
Wow.
I play Bach.
Really? You play a little Bach. Oh, that's...
It's the cello suite by Bach.
Wow.
Sting, I was at a Pearl Jam show 8 years ago at Madison Square Garden, and you came out and you guys did Driven to Tears together, and I love that song. I loved your contribution to Pearl Jam. I'm always curious, though, how does that happen? Does Eddie Vedder just call you and you're available? Or like, how does a guest appearance of your caliber end up playing with Pearl Jam?
I just went to see Eddie that night, backstage before the show. He said, you want to come and sing with us? I said, what? He said, I love Driven to Tears. I said, sure. Out we went.
And that's it.
Oh my gosh.
Right? We just naturally assume because you have these titans that it's some sort of tectonic continental thing that needs to take place.
I didn't know it was
it's
that
just a
easy.
call.
You're going to be in Philadelphia on Monday and Tuesday. Hey, you want to come by?
Can we
play a song with us?
I think you have to be Eddie Vedder. That's the part of that is the element of the story that we're missing.
My bad.
Yeah. So. With this music, and obviously you've had very thematic concepts, and throughout the history of the Police and your solo stuff. How would you describe? Is there a unifying theme to your newer music with this trio?
Well, all we've released at the moment is that single which you heard, and every night I'm listening to the band for clues about what we should record next, the direction we should make. We haven't decided on that yet, but I like the basic, very direct rock and roll look at the moment. Sound.
Right. We were bopping our heads. It's a cool, clean way to go, and it's funny. We talk about how things come in and out of vogue, and obviously you're a trendsetter yourself with the music. But I think it's time for that, to hear that again a little bit. It might be kind of cool.
Well, the clarity of a three-piece is wonderful, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
Nice. I wanted to ask a little bit more about songwriting, Sting, and since you're a world traveler, you've been everywhere with your vocation, and also just out of curiosity, I'm sure you travel to places. Do sometimes locations motivate you to write a song?
I tend to write at home. I don't tend to write on the road.
Okay.
I always look upon my home as a creative partner. There's an atmosphere there. And I have a couple of homes with a different atmosphere. So writing happens not on the road, but at home when I get back.
Well, we were just talking about people finding solitude in their cars and sitting and having Zen moments in their cars. Have you ever written a song in your car?
Of course I have, yeah. I will take a track in the car with me, and the car and me will write the lyrics to the music on the freeway.
And manufacturers go for the budding songwriter. What car?
Well, I drive a very, very old Daimler.
Well, listen, this is exciting that you're coming back to town. We want to remind everyone the show is going to be at the Met. It is Sting 3.0. The three-piece, which is a really cool version.
And you know it's going to be great.
Most definitely. And you'll be diving in career and the police as well on this tour?
I also want to point out one thing. Opening the show is a Philadelphia native called Eric Lewis, who is an unbelievable piano player.
Okay.
So he's
Nation Philly and the Met Philadelphia, you're going to donate $25,000 to Philadelphia's Laura W. Waring Elementary School music program.
Yeah, I said it at the very beginning.
Very beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we chatted about it actually for a little bit.
You know what though? I was getting things settled because I messed up the Zoom stuff, so I had to go. I was texting with the handlers and everything.
He found it so altruistic, he brought it up again.
Yeah,
so there we go.
That's the way it works. Sting, thank you so much for spending some time with us this morning. We'll see you. Sting, everybody. Yeah. Monday, September 30th and Tuesday, October 1st. And so we.
Yes.
5 minutes after, we have to do this now. Here we go.
93.3 WMMR Philadelphia. It's time for a Good Money It keyword.
All right, and the word is cute. C-U-T-E. You have until 15 minutes after the hour to enter that. There are 3 ways to do it. Through WMMR.com or through the MMR app, or you can text it the special contest short code number, which is 45911. One random entry wins $1,000 in our company-wide contest, so you got to come and get it now. Each winner gets called from Beasley. Make sure you answer your phone. Contest rules available at WMMR.com, and it's brought to you by Horizon Services, Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. So the word again is cute. C-U-T-E. Do that right now. Lesson question, trash, music news. Stay put.
Yeah, this reminds me of something that Sally Struthers. We were doing Grease. She said, "Oh yeah. Back in the '60s, I was a flower child. I got a tattoo of a butterfly on my butt. Now it's going into its cocoon."
We're so delighted that you had a chance to come by here. We are big fans.
Nice to come in.
We knew you'd be great.
Yeah,
be with you guys.
Cool. That's great, man. Excellent.
It's my pleasure.
And you know what? We should do a promotion where we go bowling with Adrian. Yeah. How cool would that be? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, some love for Adrian's man. Thank you. Thank you so much. There was an email that was sent out that we were going to have our studios checked because there may have been bed bugs brought into the area. And we've had everything checked out. They actually just brought a dog in to sniff. Yeah, I think it was Jack Russell is what it looked like.
Yep. Josie was her name.
Josie is the dog. And there's no bed bugs.
Well, no, that's not true. There were on a chair.
Oh, was there? Warm zone or something.
A warm
like that
zone.
They call those.
That's
So-
what I call my chairs at home. Yeah, my warm zone.
I think what everybody was worried about was an just on the chair. I don't know.
Just on the chair. The rest of the place is apparently clean. Josie
thought there was a radiation leak here.
Yeah. So I never told my wife that there was a bed bug.
She wouldn't have let you go to work.
No.
That was the first thing I told my wife. I'm surprised that's all we have. They're ripping the entire been opened up in years.
Yeah.
I imagine there's at night there must be because you walk around, there's these cavernous like a degrees, and then the next hole it's 1,400 degrees. It's a whole new environment. It's like you're on some spaceship that's just morphing all the time, and that's what this is here.
Well, I'm just glad that they removing asbestos and nobody ever told us.
Well, that's when that wall went up down at the end of the hallway.
Yeah.
Because I started to turn down to go down to what I thought was Chuck's office down the hall.
So my wife will, when we go check into a hotel.
Yeah.
Our bags right at the door while she goes and strips all the beds and looks through all the furniture for bed bugs. She's like definitely
she's fanatical.
So before you guys even enter.
Really wanted to come in a hazmat suit or some sort of bubble, but I couldn't find anything.
That would have been awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going through our text chain and I'm like, hey, road to freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
Get the F out of here. I'm not coming into work tomorrow. Who the F has bed bugs? Holy F, no. And she says, do you know how hard it is to get rid of bed bugs? What's the company going to do about it? If I'm sorry, of like a bed bug jug band.
Yeah, playing music. And then Kathy fires back, that's not funny.
It's not funny.
Seriously.
And then I think Nick said, read Joe's email. And then Kathy says, F the email, F the bed bug. Do our show tomorrow. Clearly, we can't go to the station, and we need an on-site location.
My house is
She was
clean.
ready.
My house is clean.
Yeah.
We have to do the show somewhere else. I would offer it up my house.
Oh, really? Oh, my God.
So it was one bug down the hall, right?
Yes!
Okay, I'm just asking.
Could you the blue light? Doesn't find any bed bugs. Just semen
Bathed in
stains.
semen, yeah.
All over my face.
We're good.
The woman was saying that they have dogs that can do all sorts of.
Wait a minute. I thought you meant that bed bugs use dogs to travel around.
yeah,
Back up.
As piggybacking.
You've never seen the bed bug Iditarod?
No.
It's good. Yeah.
It must be majestic.
It's compelling.
I love being out here in the open range. Yeah!
All right, let's do music news.
Now, Preston and Steve's music.
Lizzie Hale has confirmed in an interview that the band is compiling a special package to celebrate the 10th anniversary of its self-titled debut album. I get off.
Bill Weston, I get off.
So anyhow, Hale. Now I'm thinking about Bill at the moment of ecstasy.
No!
I know.
Yes.
I get off. I'm gonna shoot.
Yeah, it's about to happen. You feel?
Barn door! Barn door!
Barn door's open. Low-hanging fruit. I'm almost there.
There's no way we can.
No way.
Steve just canceled the meeting.
I can't look at him ever again.
Oh, Lord.
I think we got a C-.
Yeah.
Well, the Bella show is done. Maybe he's talking to him. It's Tom Araya's birthday. He's in a band. Casey, could you say that name for me, please?
Yeah. It's
if you don't mind. Actually need to say the word Slayer.
Let him do it.
I'm going to have Casey do. I can't yell like that.
The band.
We also have Tom Araya, singer and bassist from Slayer. That's the only way you can say the name of that band. He's 53 years old today.
Yeah, I can't yell like that.
He is 58 years old today, by the way, so. Or to a certain age, and then you're done.
I actually never had that. I pulled him into a room. It was just he and I talking. I said, "Hey, listen."
You listen to me.
No. I said, "This. This is not to embarrass you.
Okay.
I'm just telling you, you're not a little kid anymore. You're turning into a young man, and so you're at a point in your life where you have to shower every single day." And
but that's a standard talk, right?
Casey, the reason we had the talk with my son, who's 12, is because he stunk.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where it's like, dude, you need to wear deodorant because there's an effect, and it's just what happens when you get a little bit older. But like, he needs to do it because he's going to get made fun of. He'll be the stinky. I don't want to have the stinky kid.
The stinky kid.
No.
One thing I didn't do in this is junior high and high school. I never washed my gym clothes ever.
No.
Oh, I think a lot of kids.
The whole year. I know, right?
All right. Did you go to gym a lot?
Every day.
Okay. Were you active in gym, or were you a cool kid standing off to the side?
No,
Okay.
no. Yeah,
You were the kid that smelled like Doritos.
You had to participate. Doritos.
Yeah, that's what the gym suit would smell like if you didn't wash
we
it.
said hoagies. We go. So we say to the kids, "All right, you guys."
Odor smell like, because we've heard hoagie and Doritos. And now that I remember, I do remember associating smell with, I think, my own body odor. You ever sniff your own pit? Do a little
yeah,
sniff
occasionally,
check?
yeah.
You have to check.
So I remember smelling when I was younger that I always thought that my own armpit smelled like onions and mustard.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
To get mixed together.
Now, would you normally eat that?
Yes.
Okay,
on
so
hot
it's
dogs.
pleasant for you.
Yeah, so I kind of liked it.
So
Yeah.
maybe that's why.
Mine.
Maybe you did actually, you're sweating out the onions.
I didn't even think about that.
Well, you can sweat out garlic.
Yeah.
Like if you eat a very garlic-based diet, and when you sweat, you can smell like garlic.
Yeah. Which is a fairly pleasant
Can you
smell,
sweat
right?
out apple crumbles?
Yeah. Apple crumbles.
Let's try.
I don't know.
What about chocolate chip cookies?
Blueberry.
I just want to see if I'm missing an opportunity here to sweat out chocolate chip cookies.
Yeah.
So hoagies, Doritos, and mustard and onions, and I'm sure there are other people that have a scent that they basically have labeled as body odor.
Well, you know, of course, we talked about this, that the old belief is that when white people, Caucasians, get wet, they smell like dogs.
Like wet dog.
Right.
Yep,
and
correct.
and dogs' paws smell like corn chips.
Yeah.
And that is actually true.
Yeah.
So these different things. I don't know. We tend to be enamored of our own smell, right? To some extent.
Enamored with our own? Yeah. I mean, that's why the smell of your own farts is actually really good. It's a pleasant thing.
Not always.
Well, listen, you can
Every single time.
You can blow yourself out every now and then.
No, you
but
can't.
you're pretty proud of it.
Well, yes, exactly. That's the fine distinction.
That's
Is
a
even though
prize winner right
it
there.
may be horrible, you're like, oh my God, I'm a champion.
I've had to leave the room from my own.
You've offended yourself with your own gas?
I didn't say I wasn't proud of it. I was like, man, that was strong enough to make me leave.
Did you walk out cursing yourself?
Yeah.
What kind of animal am I?
Kind of impressed.
I honestly, Nick, I didn't think that was possible. Like, I swear to God, the worse that it smells for you, the best that it smells for me.
Okay.
Like, if it's a really bad one, where I'm like, oh man, Preston's gonna be really
It's like
mad.
licking your elbow. It's almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have one that's coming and you can tell by the
it's gonna be
by
bad.
the heat and so on, or the pressure, and you know it's going to piss me off, do you actually go, oh yeah, that's a good one?
No,
Okay.
no.
You don't take a little sneak sniff for yourself?
All right.
Oh, I always take it.
All right, we need to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I will say,
The cupping. Have you cupped recently?
Sure.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
I never cup. I never cup. No,
You don't have to.
I don't have to. I'm an old pro.
Amateurs.
It's also a good way to run a self-diagnostic.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's a lot of relevant medical material to be gleaned from assessing your own odors.
Like,
I'm trying to make a case for cupping your farts.
I know you are.
Like, I love giving myself a Dutch oven. Like,
really?
Oh, if it's a really bad one,
you'll pull the covers up.
Not only, I will just sneak under the covers. I'll be like, I'm going to just lay here for a little bit.
Do you know what's equally fun,
You're a
Casey?
disgusting human.
Casey, crap in a pillowcase and pull it over your head.
Kathy, what do you think about the smell of your own gas?
I think you guys are disgusting humans
Yeah?
right now.
I think
I think
you're a liar.
I think so too.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I'm not pulling the covers over my head and enjoying my own stench like Casey.
Yes, you are.
No.
No, she.
Of course, that's Jed on 93.3 WMMR. They originally wanted to title it "You Stupid Bitch."
Yep.
But they didn't think there was a future in that. Instead, it was Cold Hard Bitch. 18 minutes after 10, Tuesday morning. Clouds today. Temperatures hovering at the high point, around 70 degrees. 69 tomorrow. Expecting a little rain from time to time. And then we'll be back up in the low 80s on Thursday and then back in the 70s after that. So we're kind of up and down. We're officially in fall, so that's kind of what happens now. A reminder today, our friends from Duncan surprised the gang at Morris Animal Refuge with a swing by with some treats and some coffee.
Love that.
Well, thank you for all that they do and give back to the community. They've been around for 150 years. Pretty amazing. And they have achieved a remarkable 98% save rate and facilitated annual adoptions for over 1,200 animals. So if you'd like to find a furry friend for you to take home, you can go to morrisanimalrefuge.org. And thank you to our good friends at Duncan for providing all of that wonderful sustenance for them today.
They're the best, both of them.
We're going to do today's lesson question. We are going to give away a pair of tickets as MMR rocks the Deftones with Mars Volta Friday, April 4th at the Wells Fargo Center. And the question I think we'll go with is this one. What feature did Billy Joel install in the ocean surrounding his ridiculously expensive property on Long Island? 215-263-WMMR. It's close to 7 a.m. when we mention this. What feature did Billy Joel install in the ocean surrounding his ridiculously expensive property on Long Island? I decided to go with that one instead of what are Jimmy and Missy's last name, which is Spooderman.
Yeah.
That was kind of tough.
It's tough.
It's a tough one.
All right, let's see if you know the answer. We'll do the trash while you're calling it.
The trash business is a gold mine. 93.3 WMMR with Preston and Steve's Hollywood Trash.
All right, we'll get some stories from Steve. What's up, man?
Well, this is pretty inflammatory. Dave Grohl's ex, former MTV star Carrie Wurr, telling TMZ she wasn't surprised to hear about his love child, calling him a, quote, real scumbag and serial cheater. Grohl immediately responded to the quote, saying there are many ways to interpret scumbag.
Oh, my God.
Sister star Tia Mowry revealing in a new reality show that she and her twin Tamara haven't spoken in years. Tia says not a day goes by that she doesn't think about picking up that phone, calling Tamara just to tell her she's a bitch. And you're not, believe it or not, James Middleton, this blows my mind, the brother of Kate Middleton, has been offered the starring role in a movie after delivering a touching reading at a recent royal wedding. In a related story, the Duke of Kent was offered his own Netflix comedy special after telling a knock-knock joke in an elevator.
All righty. We will see if you do indeed know the answer to this question. What feature did Billy Joel install in the ocean surrounding his ridiculously expensive property on Long Island? We will go to Matt, see if he was listening. Hey, Matt, good morning, bud.
Benicio del Toro, Preston.
Yes. And wait a minute. Javier Bardem. Javier Bardem to you. All right, Matt, what did Billy Joel install in the ocean?
He installed a heater.
Temperature control. Yeah, we'll go with that. Hang on a second, Matt. We're going to set you up with a pair of tickets as MMR rocks Deftones with the Mars Volta Friday, April 4th at the Wells Fargo Center. Tickets are on sale now via Ticketmaster.
Now, Preston and Steve's Music News on 93.3 WMMR.
Music News this morning is brought to you by the Bates Motel, offering buy one, get one free tickets. And this will not last long. These tickets are limited to buy today at WMMR.com/deal. So make sure you get those now. Mike Dean is done. The founding bassist and vocalist of Corrosion of Conformity has left the band.
I guess I can burn that T-shirt.
He didn't leave anyone in suspense about why he's leaving. In a statement, Dean said he is, quote, extremely proud of everything we've done together and look forward to hearing more from the band going forward, and explain that time, distance, side projects, and life in general along with the death of Corrosion of Conformity's co-founder Reed Mullen, have made it harder for him to keep working with the group.
I have to admit, I'm not really up on my Corrosion of Conformity.
Neither am I. Band guitarist Woodrow Weatherman and frontman Pepper Keenan posted on social media about Dean's departure and said that they are in full support of his decision to leave. This is interesting. With Peter Frampton canceling his show at Virginia Credit Union Live at Richmond Raceway last week, you might not expect it to get the guitar legend in a beef with another legendary act. At a recent show, Frampton announced that he was forced to cancel his September 17th show and told the crowd that it was due to weather and also that Megadeth did a sound check. He said, and I think it was a couple of days before our show, and he said that there was structural damage to the stage after the sound check was done. He said he didn't blame Megadeth, but it doesn't look like the band took it that way. Frontman Dave Mustaine said the decision was based on safety and then added, "It's disappointing when someone you admire talks out their ass about you."
So he's trying to mend bridges.
Neither show has been rescheduled at this point.
See? No, it sounds like it sounds like he was just simply pointing out that that can happen.
Yeah.
See?
And then finally, the lead singer of Journey is offering fans a chance to vote him out of the band.
Get rid of me.
Arnel Pineda posted on his Facebook page that if 1 million fans vote for him to go, he'll leave the band. The poll comes after online comments over a video of Journey's show at the Rock in Rio Festival in Brazil on September 15th, in which he struggled with vocals. Pineda commented that it's really amazing how 1,000 things he's done right will be forgotten because of this one performance. The band has been supportive of Pineda, with guitarist Neil Sean telling him, "Don't listen to these blogs.
Don't stop believing."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Listen to the words. Journey fans apparently feel just the same way. That's another Journey song. As fans overwhelmingly are telling him.
He said, when the lights go out in the city, you'll still have a job.
Telling him to stay as well. So, yeah, I mean, the guy's... He has a bad night, and then all of a sudden it turns into people ripping him apart. Come on, man.
Yeah, you know what, man? Someday love will find him.
There we go.
He'll break those chains that bind him.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Unless they end up, I don't know, going separate ways at some point.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah, this is true. Absolutely.
Like running on empty.
Well, listen. No.
Another band.
The fans will faithfully hang on to his.
Jeremy spoke in class today. It's all right.
Here's a shout out today. Shout out correction. Jimmy and Missy Boyer Spooderman. No, Jimmy and Missy Boyer Spooderman. Was close.
I thought it was a hyphen.
Happy anniversary.
That was from the brother Danny, who neglected to include their last names in the email he sent you, Preston.
All right, so it's Jimmy and Missy Boyer Spooderman.
Congrats.
So if you can, please reach out to the Boyer Spooderman family.
We're starting a GoFundMe.
And wish them happy.
To eliminate the hyphen.
Yeah. All right, that's it in music news. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back in a second. We're going to wrap up the show. Stay with us. We will be back momentarily, dear friend.
Preston and Steve.
No, I don't think we've talked about this before. You are very. I mean, obviously, the notion of passing gas liberally at home is not something that you do, correct?
You don't think I pass gas at home? Is that what you're
I don't think you do. I don't think you stand in the middle of the room and go, ba-boom.
Yeah, he did it.
Hey, get over here. I think you go into the conservatory.
Pull my finger.
Yeah.
Felicity alum. Felicity.
Tonight on a powerful Felicity. Felicity shows up late for a chemistry class.
I'm sorry. I thought it was an 8.
That's to go to detention.
Go to detention. Felicity.
Carrie Russell.
Carrie Russell. She, formerly of the Long Locks, who killed her career by cutting her hair, but has now grown her hair back and is doing great things with the American.
So Carrie Russell was Felicity.
Sound like
history in Russell.
It's Carrie Russell's history.
Presented by Rita that she grew her hair back, and it was wonderful.
Oh, gee.
She plays a commie bitch who pretends she's one of us. Those commies.
In what?
In The Americans.
Oh, The Americans.
You don't watch that?
No,
She's a spy.
I don't watch that.
It's like that John Travolta, Kelly Preston movie.
Oh, yeah. You know, The Experts.
The Experts.
Mm-hmm. But she may join J.J. Abrams and Star Wars Episode 9.
We forget that it was J.J. Abrams who created and wrote a number of the
Felicity episodes.
I did forget that, yeah.
Yeah.
No word yet on whether she'll tackle a hero or a villain in the epic franchise. The movie begins shooting in London this month, by the way.
Unless we forget also that Kerry Russell won Mr. Skin's Best Butt Shot, I believe, in the Anatomy Awards.
Get a nice pooper.
No kidding. Casey says
got
she
a hell of a pooper. kind of butt you want to spend a weekend spelunking at, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we are back from vacation.
We are.
So the.
Oh, yeah, this is nice. This is good stuff.
Look, there's some soccer players in there from Thailand.
So the kids are going to help you out.
You guys all right?
Wait, I see light from the badge.
Oh, God.
We can do this.
Wow.
It's a new survival story unlike any other.
Walk this way, kids. Here we go. Is it a stalagmite or a stalactite?
The tight or from the ceiling stalactite hang on top, and the mites are.
You know that?
Yeah, that's the old stalactite.
It's tight. It hangs on, and stalagmite might make it to the ceiling if it keeps growing. So.
And all of this is taking place in Felicity.
In Felicity's butt.
Okay, yeah.
Text says, driving my kids to daycare, my 2-year-old is calling my 1-year-old a commie bitch. Thanks. Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Well, they're learning about a time in our history that was very important.
This is one of these meetings here with the town where people can get up and speak their mind. And this young man got up and he had a take on legalizing prostitution.
So I propose this. The city allows for licensed masseurs to give genital massages if the masseur and the client both agree to it. We let someone get naked and have every other part of their body touched and rubbed by a massage therapist. Hell, we let proctologists spend their day men and sticking things. So if someone wants to yank a guy's crank, I say let him.
Oh my God.
That really is as inspiring as FDR's speech on December 8th, 1941.
I love the last part of that. Hang on.
So if someone wants to yank a guy's crank, I say let him.
I say
I say to you, if someone wants to yank a man's crank, I say let them do it.
Okay.
And so by this time,
legit?
Well,
maybe.
You know what? I don't care. But he was definitely in front of this group. He was prepared. He seemed, and then he goes on. It's not just enough to state that's your intent or what you'd like to see happen.
Yeah.
You have to provide.
You got to back it up.
Examples.
Yeah, some context.
Some context to it. Yes.
Here's clip 2.
Picture this: a big old sweaty fat guy would get with your hand actually be that much worse than giving him a full body massage, getting up in there under the folds of fat, or being the proctologist sticking your finger.
Holy hell.
If a grown adult wants a job, another grown adult is willing to give one for money, then let them. That would truly be a happy ending for everyone.
Okay.
Oh my God.
The crowd loved it.
There is, I think, legitimacy to his claim, by the way. Are we going there or are we not going there?
I want to hear. What do you think?
I like the way you.
Casey started doing
like a velociraptor all of a sudden.
His head was going left and right. Are we going here?
Well, yeah. I mean, dude, why is that illegal?
Rubbing tugs?
Yeah.
There is that. This is an age-old question about the. In fact, right before the Magna Carta came into being, there was the rub and tug.
I mean, there is a separation of church and state, right? So, is morality a church thing?
Wow, this got a lot deeper than I thought. We were simply playing a goofball, but you want to work out whether prostitution or the sex trade should be legitimized.
Well, maybe we should put them in malls.
Let's talk about abortion. Yeah. Let's lighten things up a bit.
Once you've starred in a movie that's nominated for an Oscar, it's safe to say that you're famous, right?
Yeah.
Well, Saoirse Ronan, who is 24 years old, still doesn't feel famous, though. Yeah, she's adorable.
Yeah.
I love her, and the accent
It's wonderful.
He's just thinking.
It's such a garden party, asking inappropriate questions to Meghan Markle.
I love how they drop the G on ing words. Ronan continued saying she avoided reading about herself. She said,
I was farting.
What was that sound?
I was farting. Farting hard. You just know that'd be adorable. Just outside, standing in the glen, farting.
In the glen.
The glen. The morning dew collected on the leaves and grass. Yeah. Just decided it'd be a good time for farting. It does sound better, doesn't it?
Oh,
it does.
Oh, it needs to be a song.
Where were you, Auntie Sarsha? I was outside farting, dear. Farting hard.
There needs to be a song called Farting in the Glen.
Farting in the Glen.
We're excited, ladies and gentlemen, to have in our studio actor David Harbour.
Thank you.
I'm so excited I said good afternoon when it's 9:20 in the morning.
There are a bunch of footlongs outside the studio, which is like the 9 in the morning footlong, though.
Yeah. Do you know Pink's in Hollywood?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That's them.
Are those from there?
They just expanded
Oh,
to
well,
the
then
east.
bring me one. I mean, come on. It's still a hot dog.
Yeah, it's not a... It's, classic breakfast fare, but it works. It's very good.
We never actually get breakfast food here. It's always like
It's
that.
always a dinner thing, but it all
Wings
works.
and all that stuff.
We've been up since 3:45.
Yeah, exactly. So it is kind of
works
dinner
out.
for you guys.
David, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I'm from White Plains, New York.
Know it well.
Yeah, do you know it?
I'm from New York, yeah.
Okay,
I know
Westchester County, like 45 minutes out from the city, suburban, very boring place to grow
But nice.
up.
If you work in the city, it's a nice area to be in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I couldn't stand it when I was growing up because it's like that suburban thing, and you're like 14 years old and all you want to do is act out. And so I would take that Metro North train down to New York, though.
Oh, yeah.
When I was like 15. And, back then you could do a lot worse things than you can nowadays. We could go to bars and I mean, they didn't have any of the rules they have nowadays.
So it wasn't the creative arts that were driving you to the city? It was the party?
I would tell my parents that I was going to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So yes, the arts were driving. If my parents are listening.
Well, we're thrilled to have you in here.
Yeah.
We're massive Stranger Things fans, and we're also just massive fans of your body of work, which is just so much great stuff. And I think you've described yourself, or have been described, and I think...
Well, a phrase from Pierre, and that's a little toe tapper there on 93.3 WMMR. Hailstorm and I prevail.
That's ripping song.
It's badass, without question. It is 10:35 on a Tuesday morning with the Preston and Steve Show. And our program is coming to a close. And what a full one today. Really, really enjoyed today's show. A lot happening. Ample opportunities for you to win money. We gave away Metallica tickets earlier to both of those shows coming up in May. And we spent some time talking with some cool people. Colin Mochrie.
How about that?
Whose line is it anyway? He and Brad Sherwood are going to be performing at the Keswick Theater Saturday, October 5th. Those tickets are on sale now at keswicktheater.com. Please go see. And also, we had Sting on our show. And once again, he's a nice guy, man. I mean, and talk about, A-list as you can get is one of the biggest musical stars ever. And... you get nervous about talking to somebody like that, but he's easy to talk
Very comfortable.
to.
I think at this point we're besties.
I think
Is that
so.
okay to say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make a charm bracelet and
Absolutely.
send it to him. And love all of it.
What the hell is this?
He's going to be performing with his trio Monday, September 3rd and Tuesday, October 1st. Tickets are on sale now at livenation.com to get those. So it was so cool to have Sting on, man.
Yes.
I can't believe we've actually talked
twice
a couple of times now. All right, today's Tattoo Tuesday. Let's give this away. A $350 gift certificate for Floating World Tattoos goes to Jarrett Coastal from Hatfield, Pennsylvania. So Jarrett's going to get something in mind. He's going to reach out to the gang at Floating World and let them know, and they will work their magic. You want to see what all they can do? You got to check out their website at floatingworldtattoos.com or find them on Instagram or any socials. Just do a search on @floatingworldtattoos. tattoos. And, of course, you can go to 1729 South Street and see them in person. Speaking of in person, he's right here, Jackie Bam Bam.
Yeah.
Hi.
I have to second that. I really enjoyed the show as well today.
Oh, thank you.
Sleeping in your car with Yo Romano, I like that while I was driving in traffic. And yeah, like you said, Sting back to a threesome, love it. And practices every day. That was a shocker,
Isn't that
right?
mind- He had sheet music right there. He was doing,
I had no idea. He was
Playing
a guy-
Baroque and classical to you.
A guy
was
of that
cool.
level, it should. It's admirable that he still practices.
Yeah,
He creates. He that's how seriously he takes his craft. So.
But Press, you and me, it's like you gotta keep the limbs lubricated.
Yeah.
And stuff. You gotta keep the chops up.
You have to practice if you wanna. That's
Lube up
why
your limbs.
the day of the MM barbecue, I actually warmed up a little bit.
Because you never know.
Because you never know.
They might call you up.
If somebody calls me up, I got to be ready to go. So all
It's
right.
like Nick with the Pearl Jam getting called up at the Garden, right? With Sting. That was cool.
It was, and he and Eddie were having a conversation. Ed asked him to come out. And I'd like to point out that Casey invited him to come down and hang out with us next week. And Sting did not say no.
No.
He didn't.
There was not a denial.
It could happen.
Yeah. You
I'm
never
going to
know.
have my people say no.
All right, we're going to do the letter of the day. You ready, bud?
I am ready.
Here we go.
Preston and Steve on 93.3 WMMR.
Now, the Daily Letter.
All right, the Preston and Steve Show is brought to you today by the letter.
The letter L as in lovable lunatic.
All right.
Oh, like you.
And we have an adventure aquarium encounter experience.
Batted it out of the park.
Was that a home run?
A
Grand slam.
A 4-pack. I hope you're keeping the camera on him. A 4-pack of tickets and an adventure aquarium merch pack. You can dive into fall family fun at the Fantastic Pumpkin Glow at Adventure Aquarium, overflowing with aquatic pumpkin sculptures, and it's open now through November 3rd. So you're in for Pierre for a few days. What's going on today,
A
man?
few days, more like 2 weeks. So it's the second day. You said double shot Tuesday. So they shall be filled. You get your $1,000 keyword at noon. Workforce blocks at noon. 33rd anniversary. 2 great albums will track through them on Nirvana, Nevermind, and the Chicken Peppers, Blood, Sugar, Sex, Magic. And I heard Nick McWayne say, of course, Presbo, Ringo Starr's in town.
Yeah.
So Nick mentioned Edgar Winter, part of this great all-star band. Edgar Winter is not on this tour, but my pal Buck Johnson, who handles all them high vocals for Screaming Steven Tyler and Joe Perry, he got the call. He's also in Alice Cooper's Hollywood Vampires. So I believe Buck is going to call me at noon. We're going to talk about, what he's been up to, what Steven Tyler's up to, and how he got this gig with Ringo Starr. So he'll be on the keyboards because Edgar Winter's tour manager worked with Aerosmith, and that was the connection. He got the call, but they already rehearsed with Edgar Winter, so Buck's a pro. Awesome. So you're in for a great show tonight.
That's
Man Music
terrific.
Center will track some Beatles songs with Ringo up front. Prize golfing has Brett Michaels of Poison tickets at our Park 6 Site Center. So we'll give you a chance at winning them as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Jackie. And I want to thank real quick our sponsors, Preston and Steve Show, brought to you today by Dunkin'. And the Preston and Steve Show runs on Dunkin', also brought to you by Acme Markets, fresh foods, local flavors, and by Leaf Home. They make home ownership easy. Tomorrow, pack show as well. We have Fox Good Day. We have a secret text word. We'll do Good Money It. We have the Metallica tickets. And this is cool. We have a performance from the Philadelphia Classical Guitar Society. Should be pretty interesting. Classical guitar performing in our studio. All right, that's it. We're done. Rage on. Have yourself a great day, friend. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Preston and Steve.